if you are coming in to watch the show, it is huge for me. If you're on YouTube, hit the notification, like tap that button, pop that button, just a little tip, just a little ding, hit that button, and get the notifications because that stuff helps me so much. It pushes me up in the those algorithms, and I don't even know what it does, but they say it helps. So.
Patrol's trying, but they can't get their asses. Beside we can't let.
Yo, is this
Stonie's bad. Makes nobody know.
So good, my dog. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Stonie's Budz. Got a huge guest here, a true legend right here. Somebody who really just has done it all in snowboarding, skateboarding, surfing, even owns restaurants now. This guy is a true legend and a true, man, just kind of keeper of the culture here. We got Tom, Wally, Inouye. He created the Wally.
Wall ride.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I wasn't meaning to when I did it, so
you just jammed up a wall.
Yeah, well, there's a wall at our high school that went up like 3 feet and then had a 45-degree angle and then went back up, and it had probably maybe a 6-inch transition to bottom. So we were just imitating surfing, and I said, why don't we try and ride up this wall and do an off the lip on that corner like we were slashing a surfboard. And so it was just all of us trying it for days and trying it, and then I finally landed it, and my friend Gary Zach pointed to me and said, Wally. And it just, when it stuck.
You can't pick your own nicknames.
Yeah,
right?
You can't.
And that's
yeah,
a good
you
one.
really can't.
Yeah.
And you probably shouldn't, right?
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like George in Seinfeld when he keeps trying. I don't know if you've seen those episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Of T-Bone and they call him a gorilla or something. But dude, that's a great one because
so
I got created.
I got credited for the wall ride, and that was like 1970, late 73. So it was still kind of clay wheel days because we were riding banks and ditches on our clay wheels, and so. Because we were surfing and we were just imitating surfing and what a bank looks like, a little wave.
So clay wheels, I don't even know what that would be like. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, you look back at it now and it's crazy to me. And I go back to my house and see all these hills that I bombed on clay wheels.
Yeah.
And,
sketchy or what?
No, I mean, back then that's what it was. So to us, it being 10, 8, 9, 10, it did feel sketchy to us, you know? Until the urethane wheel came out, and then that was a whole new ballgame.
And who was like, okay, let's put out this urethane wheel? Like, who knew it was going to... Or just, you didn't even know, you were just a kid doing your thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, try this.
Yeah, and the first Skateboard magazine came back out in 1975 with Greg Weaver on the cover, and there was just an ad with Cadillac wheels and with urethane wheels, but it was still loose ball bearings. So I don't know if you know about the loose ball bearings.
Yes.
You have 8 on each side, so there's 16 ball bearings on.
I remember
each
seeing
wheel.
them, and they'd kind of like fall out a little bit.
They would fall out.
Yeah, sand gets in them, and so it was just life changing.
Yeah, it was life changing.
And so when you were there at the school doing trying the wall rides, was there any other notable skaters, or was it just you at your high school in California?
It was just my crew that we grew up skating around the block, and we all learned how to surf together. So that. Our group, I mean, we rode BMX bikes together. We played football. We played basketball.
You were just doing all the sports
you know,
together
hide
as
and go
kids.
seek, you know, and
Hide and
freeze
seek?
tag.
I'll
And,
give hide and seek an air horn. Why
yeah.
not?
Well, the thing was that there was 22 kids on my block of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 houses.
Where were we?
This is Monterey Park.
Okay.
In East LA, and so we could play hide and go seek or freeze tag around the whole block, and so there's 40 kids around my block, so we had teams of 20.
Dude, crazy. It's a lot of kids.
Yeah, a lot of kids.
Were a lot of kids skateboarding, or was it just like a fringe?
You know, no, I don't think so. You know, back in 73, 74, it was. I mean, I wanted to play baseball and I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to play football, but you can just look at my size, and the coach would try out for basketball, and the coach would go, well, you know, even if you make the team, you're probably just going to sit on the bench.
Facts.
Because I'm small.
And they love that.
And I mean, I'm, 3 inches taller now than I was when I was 13.
Still growing, or are you shrinking?
Yeah. But I think I'm probably shrinking now. You know, and then I'd go out for football too. And all my friends made the football team, but I was, again, the coach who was the same basketball coach says, well, if you come up for football and you make the team, you're just going to sit on my bench.
He straight says
Yeah,
that.
so I said, well, fuck you then. I guess I'm going to ride my BMX bike and start riding my skateboard more.
And he's pointing to your elbow.
My elbow? You've seen my elbow.
I don't think I've seen your elbow.
Oh, okay.
Is it we got a massive case of swelbo, like the next level? Oh, wow, dude. Crazy.
But everybody thinks I broke at skateboard, and I did not.
Really?
I broke it when I was 5 on gymnastic rings.
Oh, what? Like
And I fell.
tucked up in there crazy,
Yeah,
like one of those breaks that...
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 5, and my dad. It was actually like rings at the school, and so he would lift me up, and I would hold on, and I, let go and drop off onto the rubber mat. Well, he bailed, and so back then they made the milk crates out of wood, so I focused on 2 milk crates across the schoolyard, drug them underneath the rings, and stacked one on top of the other, and got up on the rings. Now my hands are about ready to slip, and I don't have the power to kind of swing myself, and I let go, and I kind of hit the corner of the crate right here with my elbow, and it just exploded.
And it didn't affect your skateboarding, I guess, but basketball and all that, I can just imagine.
It didn't, but look at like this photo here.
Okay.
You can see my arm.
You can, now that you say that,
It's kind of back here.
It's twisted.
Yeah, and there were multiple skaters who were trying to imitate my style. And
Yeah.
so like Lance Mountain would come and tell me, yeah, I would try and get my arm all crooked like yours, but
When he's doing laybacks, he wants to like look.
But they didn't know that my arm was
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
all-
tweaked and
you're all
broken.
good-
They
good
thought it
luck.
was just my style,
Hey, good luck getting your arm like mine. You got to get into gymnastics and do it that way.
Yeah.
Where were you in like the there was Lance Mountain and that crew doing Animal Chin? Let's say, like, what year was that?
Yeah, that was 80.
I'm just
that was
I
way
think
later.
83,
Okay, so that's way 84. That was way later.
And then what about like the Z Boys?
That was my time, the Z-Boys. Z-Boys came out, 74, 75, 76.
So were they like a rival crew? Not rival,
Well,
buddies. I'm sure.
No, they just came from Santa Monica. And Santa Monica is well known. They had all the schoolyards, Paul Revere, Kennert, Bellagio, and all those schoolyards that had the banks. And when I first saw them, it was in Super Sessions, the surf movie that Hal Jepsen did. And I think that was 1974. And we saw these Well, and we didn't skate at that point in time. We just went and watched because we knew that we'd probably get thrown out.
Yeah, you're on other people's turf.
Yeah, and we would watch where they would push and drop in on the bank, and we would watch their lines, and then we would come back at night and skate at night or the full moon, and we get the spot wired. And when you skate it at night in the dark, you kind of get it wired pretty quick because you know where the cracks were that you're going to fall. And then once we got it down, then we went and skated during the day.
Nice.
You know, and
show up and like be like, all right.
You know, so
and was everybody cool?
They were.
Because I imagine you guys all competed against each other if it was the same time.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you know, I did all the freestyle contests that they all did. I was never good at the contest, but
I almost feel like contests really, unless you're winning them, it's like a place to show up and meet people. And
exactly.
Meet sponsors.
And that's where you meet people from all over the LA County, and then people start coming down from Santa Barbara and north and you know, up from San Diego and down from San Francisco and stuff like that. And but I really want to give a shout out to Dale Smith, Sausage Man, who was dating my cousin at the time, and my cousin said that, hey, my cousin skateboards, so she brought him over there, and he's just this redhead kind of Irish guy, and he was in the surf scene in Long Beach and Huntington, so he took me under his wings when I was 14 and introduced me to all the skaters and took me to all the contests.
Wow. And who are you looking up to at this point?
Well, mostly I was looking up to all the surfers.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Lopez and Reno Abelero and BK and Terry Fitzgerald, Phil Edwards. You know, I was just really surf focused, and so my skateboarding was imitating the surfers, riding the waves.
Your style is just incredible.
Yeah, you know, but you know, he tried to get. Do you know what the daffy is?
A ski daffy?
No, I guess kind of the same thing, but skateboard daffies, you use two skateboards.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Your front. Nose wheelie, and then you go around and you do the daffy. Well, Dale Smith was teaching me how to do handstands and V-sits into handstands. You can do a daffy handstand. So I got down there. And,
you're going to be a tough dude for that.
And try to do that. And obviously I did the splits and hit my head in the thing and bust. But in the end, I learned it and pulled the trick off and did it at the Orange County Fairgrounds. And
people were blown away.
Yeah, it actually made the skateboard that Jim O'Malley put out, I think.
So it made it in the mag.
It made it in the mag, but the caption was sketchy. Barefoot and grab the nose and tails and hop and do 360.
Yeah.
And so I skated with.
I found last night when I was researching you a little bit, I found a photo where you're doing some of that style and you're like have a pretty wild.
You know,
that's like early before Rodney Mullen,
right?
Like he just took that to a whole nother dimension, I guess. But
Rodney Mullen, when we were on a Florida trip with Stacy, he said, he said, hey, we're gonna go out to Kissimmee or Orlando. I think that's where Rodney. We're gonna go watch this. We're gonna go skate. Went to Rodney Mullen's and we got to his house, and I'm thinking we're gonna skate a ramp or something, and his dad.
You're going all the way to.
And he was just doing all these freestyle tricks, and he was younger, and so we met him, and we were. It was me and Kurt Kimball, I think Chris Stropel. And he just did his routine.
Insane.
That we did not comprehend at the time.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and says, what the fuck did he just do? What do you think you're going to score him? And I went, I think I'm going to score him a 10. Because I don't know what he did.
I don't even know what just happened.
Yeah.
What happened out there?
Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah.
It's just his style is just. I didn't realize. I didn't know how old he was. I remember seeing him in a demo in like Connecticut when I was super young, and it blew my mind. It's like you go to the mall. Remember he rode for Swatch or something.
Yeah.
And Swatch must have flown him to like every mall that they possibly could. And I remember seeing him and just being like, "Wow, this is insane." But I didn't realize maybe it lined up that you'd go to his house and skate. When you say a slab of concrete like that, that reminds me of like the Scotty Stevens of skating, and Scotty Stevens is the snowboarding version. Like he'd be stoked on something like that.
Right.
You know, just give
Totally.
Scotty this little area, and he's gonna be so hyped. And
Yeah.
you don't need to build some crazy ramp. That's so cool.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, dude, that's so rad that you're able to be part of these scenes. What got you into skateboarding? Was it more because, like you were saying, you couldn't do the sports you wanted?
I guess I should go back to 1967, where there was 5 kids in my family, 3 girls and 2 boys, and my eldest sister Cindy and Gail, mom and dad came home from Sears, and brought them roller skates, the kind that you put on the bottom of your tennis shoes. But I didn't get any.
Like you strap.
Yeah, you know,
Wow.
and they wouldn't let me use it, and so I was kind of bummed out, and then Gail, I grew up on a really hilly area.
Yep.
And so Gail tried to go down this hill, and fell and split her chin open.
Ooh.
Ended up going to the hospital. Well, the next day I found her roller skates in the trash can.
Oh no.
So
Did Dad toss them?
Yeah. So no, I think she tossed them.
She did. She's
yeah.
just like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
So I grabbed them and ran over to my friend's house, Jack Martin. So we were always just taking turns, putting them on and trying to, and they were metal wheels. And then Jack Sr. saw us doing that, and we were kind of fighting. No, it's my turn. No, it's my turn.
Yeah,
my turn.
fighting over it.
And he went and got 2 pieces of 2x4s. Took both the skates, cut them in half, nailed it on the 2x4. So now we each have one, and and so that's my first thing of skateboarding, and that probably lasted.
That's crazy.
That probably lasted 2 weeks. Probably,
Yeah.
You know, you're young, you do something, and you get bored, and you move on.
Yeah, and during the time that you're stoked, or
Yeah.
you're like trying to do as many cool things as you can with it.
And especially with metal wheels, you're pushing on the sidewalk, and every single crack or little extension joints they have in the sidewalks, you know, you hit that and you go flying. So
I've never experienced metal wheels. I don't even know what that could possibly be like.
You know, and then it was 72, and I was with Dean Eddowes, and we snuck into his brother's room, his older brother's room, Ron.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
And he had a stack of surfer magazines. And then the one that stood out was Jerry Lopez on the cover getting barreled at Ala Moana. So now we want to go. So now we want to go surfing. So Ron took us surfing a couple of times, and we lived 35 miles from the beach. So he would take us maybe once a month.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, you know, Big Brother doesn't want to take younger brothers and his friends.
Yeah, of course.
So they all bought skateboards, Black Knight skateboards, and then it was probably, you know, I think they cost $6 maybe.
Jeez.
But I couldn't get $6 from my parents, so I didn't get one. So we were going to the dump, and we were finding bike frames, and we were buying the frames for like a nickel and rims for 5 cents, and we would put our bikes together. And I went there and I found a skateboard.
Damn.
And I paid a nickel for the skateboard from the dump.
5 cents going on here.
and it had Chicago trucks and clay wheels, and the deck was kind of just beat up. So I took some plywood and cut a pintail out of it and traded it. And
You cut it?
Yeah. So I made my first skateboard, and I think it was a 25-inch wide or 25-inch long, maybe 5 inches wide, probably.
Wow.
You know. And so now we're just skating in all the downhill, all the streets and the driveways, and trying to jump off the curbs. That's kind of what I remember doing that. And there was probably a good 10 of us that were surfing and skateboarding around our house.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I got into it.
That's how you get into it.
You know, and then, like I said, I met Dale Smith, and Dale Smith took me under his wings. And he took me to like Huntington Pier where they were skating underneath. There was like Russ Howe and Skitch Hitchcock and Fred Fillell and Bob Jarvis. And they were all doing the freestyles, 360s, nose wheels, tail wheelies, and all those. And so
What do we call this, freestyle?
Freestyle.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was joining on that group and freestyling. And then he took me down to San Diego La Costa, where they were slalom racing at Black Hill. And
Sick.
so I got into slalom racing and downhilling. We were already doing. We were bombing hills on clay wheels.
Yeah, so downhilling, there's no gates involved or anything? It's
just
get down there first.
See how fast. See how fast you
You're
can
not
go.
first, you're last.
And so I look back at it now and say, God, how did we go down these hills
Dude.
on these clay wheels, whatever.
Let alone stop and all that.
But
just everything
on the
about
hill
it.
that I grew up on was probably a 40-mile-an-hour hill. And so we were doing that, and then
With clay wheels,
yeah.
like,
and then the
jeez.
urethane wheel came out, and Bain had this ad with Dennis Jarvis, the fastest man on skateboards, going 40 miles an hour. Wow! And so we said, I think we can go 40. So to see how it going 40 felt, David Adams had a motorcycle, so he would pull us going 40. So we would see how fast 40 would go.
What kind of wobble we talking
You know,
about
and
here?
yeah. I mean, you did get speed wobbles, and then we started bombing hills, and then we had him pull us like going 20, and we would let go and then bomb the hills. But so
you're talking, he's pulling you into bombing the
Yeah.
hills, basically.
Yeah.
Jeez,
you know,
dude.
and so, I mean, we were all going
You're little
really,
maniacs.
really fast.
Yeah.
You know, but you definitely leave a lot of skin on asphalt.
Yeah,
because you fall.
asphalt. And it's kind of like the early days of snowboarding. The snowboarders did everything. You know, you're
Right.
doing pipe, you're doing
Exactly.
gates, you're doing whatever it took. It's
You
like
know?
more about hanging out with
Yeah.
everybody.
And so we were all doing that, and then we found a couple of drainage ditches, and we found some banks, and like we said, we were going into Venice and in their areas, and then we heard about the Vermont Drop was another drainage ditch, and out by Carson, and that's where I met Waldo and the Worm, and Greg Ayers and Rod Sanders, and so we're starting doing that, and it was funny because at the time I think we were all skating pools, but we didn't know it, and
because
then,
of the style.
yeah,
going
I
on?
think so. And then when the cover that Greg Weaver had on, he was skating a pool and he was just going, you know, just a little above the scum line underneath the light, which was rad back then.
Underneath the light.
Yeah. And so there was a pool next door. Neighbors had a pool.
Really?
And so I threw a bunch of rocks in it, and they drained the pool.
You got them to drain the pool,
And so
basically, without
I,
asking.
So I snuck in there and skated their pool, and then we grew up. I grew up with 3 public pools within a 2-mile radius. And Grandview, which was the 40-mile-an-hour downhill to the thing, that was the only pool that wasn't heated. So they filled it for the summertime, and they drained it 9 months out of the year.
Oh, wow, 9 months.
And the lights came on at night for the safety reason. So we started hopping the fence there and skating that pool for
Like
for
all night
years.
long, the
Yeah,
lights are on?
and it's an Olympic-sized pool. 10 feet deep. And so,
Jeez, dude.
So yeah.
And were you just kind of like, was it pretty quick? You realized, hey, I'm all right at this.
No,
Or did it take work?
I think it took work, but we never looked at each other and said, "You're better than me," or "I'm better than you." I'm getting it. At that point, we were just trying to get halfway up the wall.
Yeah.
Go over the light. Get to the tiles. That was the progression for us, and so it was kind of like so now we started naming our spots after surf breaks.
Sick.
So Grandview was like Sunset because it was a big deep pool.
That's so cool. Naming it after the spots.
Some of the streets were Waikiki, really super mellow waves, and we would find like driveways with bushes overhanging, and we would get tubed, and
sick. Yeah, just getting tubed, trying to emulate what was going on.
So it was just full surfing, and then, I think that was happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody had their little cliques. The Dogtown guys definitely had the banks in the schoolyards, and Arthur Lake had a pool in his backyard, so they start skating pools, and they start finding, because they were like right there by Pacific Palisades and in Beverly Hills, and were all they had a ton of pools. So
that was kind of like the cool thing to do then, was get in these pools.
I think it was. Well, it was just kind of rebel, and that was even before the skate parks came out. That we were doing it, and so
now there's just one in every single town has one. Just imagine
it was.
Are some of those spots still have the same names? Do you know?
Oh yeah,
that's so
they
sick.
do, and there's still some. There's still some spots out that we still skate today.
Yeah,
Which,
well, that's what I wondered, and it held the name that many years.
Yeah,
like that's sick.
It does, yeah.
So I just know when you look at kind of the history of, let's say your history, 1977 hits, and all of a sudden you just blowing up. Like what it, maybe like paint that picture for us, kind of like, how did you go from this kid that's trying to get to the scum line to like 2 covers back to back, month to month? That's insane. I've never heard of that happening really anywhere. Except for anyone.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. And so I met Waldo Autry at the Vermont drop, and so he took me to the Long Beach pool. And no,
he's a photographer.
No, he was a skater, fucking unbelievable skater. And so we start hanging out, and I actually turned him on to Mount Baldy, because we had heard from these surfers of this tube that was in the mountain, and that so we were trying to find it, and again Jack Martin Sr. said, well, if there's a tube in the mountain, it's probably at the Mount Baldy Dam. So he drove us out there.
And nowadays you'd be like on Google imaging and finding all this thing. You guys had to go hunt this thing.
And I think that was like late 72, 73, still on clay wheels. And so we found Mount Baldy, and we climbed down the rope, and it's just this long 15-foot tube, like when they drain the water out
big
of
tube,
the thing.
right?
Yeah. And it was just smooth, and we were, at the time, we weren't kick turning. And we weren't even carving back and forth. We were just carving on one side of the wall. Like carve up, hit the bottom, turn, carve up, hit the bottom.
The easy side for you.
And so you do front side, and then the next time you're doing back side. And then we kind of figured out that we can carve both ways, And so I turned Waldo onto that. And next thing you know, he's getting pictures in the magazine, and he's in 5 Summer Stories filming it. And so he blew up, and then we heard about a pool in Long Beach. So Dale Smith and we went on a full moon again, and we were skating, and all of a sudden Waldo Autry and Perry come in, and it was the first time that I ever saw someone carve tiles and come up and try and kick turn on the other side of the wall.
Wow.
And so he taught me how to go over the light and start teaching me how to kick turn.
Once you see that, it's just like
Yeah.
a puzzle clicking together and your head exploding and like, wow, you can do that. Okay.
You know? And then the first skate park, Carlsbad was the first skate park that was built. And the second skate park was Anaheim. And so we were skating a pool with Waldo, and he goes, hey, I'm going to Anaheim skate park. That's not open yet. And they're going to have a photo shoot. You should come with me.
Wow.
So I went, and again, there was Stacy Peralta and Paul Hoffman and Rodney Jesse and Mike Williams and Gary Cicero, a few other guys that I kind of recognized in the magazines, but I didn't know their names at the time. And they were in their GNS jerseys or their Brewer jerseys. Everybody was in Hobie jersey. Mike Weed and Greg Weaver were there in their Hobie jerseys, and so I snuck in there and was riding, and
they're flaunting their team jerseys.
And Gary Cicero was the guy who was building the park, and he saw me and says, who in the fuck are you? Get out of here.
Oh.
And so he kicked me out, and Waldo goes to me, hey, there's a Sims jersey in my truck. You should go put it on.
Sick.
So I put this jersey on, and I snuck back in, got about a half an hour of skating, and Gary Carroll saw me and I said, I told you to get the fuck out of here. You know? And so now I'm walking.
I got a jersey now, though,
so
man.
now I'm watching the sessions behind the chain link fence, and this guy comes up and goes, hey, I think I got a couple of good pictures of you.
Sick.
Why don't you give me your name and your phone number? So I did, and went on my way, and it must have been 3 months later, maybe 4 months later, and I get this call. My dad goes, hey, this guy by the name of Warren Bolster's on the phone. I said, well, fuck, who's Warren Bolster? And get on the phone. Hello? Hey, I'm Warren Bolster, and I shot pictures of you at Anaheim, and I got a great shot of you, and you think you can meet me at the Denny's off the 57 freeway? And I said, yeah, I think I could probably do that. And so I hang up the phone and go to my dad and says, hey, this guy shot pictures of me skateboarding. He wants to show me, but we have to go to the Denny's off the 57 freeway, which was at the time probably 35 miles away, 40 miles away.
And so in that area, that's a big trip.
Yeah, it's a big trip,
trip.
So he took me, and
Dude, we need to bust that thing open.
And that's the shot.
Dude,
Can't
photo.
we bust it open?
Dude, let's bust it because I want you to sign that shot. I don't know if we need a tool, a knife.
I think fingernail. I think I can.
He's got these big nails. He's got a knife for you if you want it. Maybe watch the cameras though. Oh, he's got it. He's got it.
So I get there.
Dude, this photo right here, the style.
I get
dude.
there, and he's got a magazine with all the codes here, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, the early days.
And he opens the center spread.
Woo!
And it's this shot.
Look at that mustache, dude. You weren't even old enough for a mustache.
so it's this shot right here.
That is
right?
so sick.
And so my first photo, I get the center spread.
Did you actually? I can pop that up on the screen too.
And I'm like,
oh, this is the center spread too.
Yeah, but yeah, it was originally the center spread, and so
how old are you?
I was 17.
17.
76. I was 17.
Wow.
Going to be turning 18 in January, and I believe that came out in April.
You were put this up.
For
the peeps.
So
ooh, that mustache though.
Is there a mustache?
Kinda, dude.
Kinda.
You're just a styly dude, though, man.
I think it's more peach fudge.
That is some fuzz, dude.
I know.
Do you know who's in the background or anything?
Let me see. I
always get that stuff. Always interests me because you're like a session like that, man. There's some heavy people.
So that's Paul Hoffman.
Nice.
I know that.
Yeah.
And I believe this guy in the yellow and in blue. Might have been Mike Williams.
That's a move right there. The yellow pads with the yellow shirt.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a bold move.
So this was, I saw a picture of Mark Richards doing an off the lip on surfing, and his knee was jammed up into his chin.
Wow.
So I'm imitating Mark Richards on
Yeah.
that. So I'm trying to do an off the lip and get my knee kind of up into my chin. And
Dude, you know what trips me out? That you say that about your elbow. Your arm looks sick, so sick.
Yeah,
and
it's
no
always-
one can duplicate
it's
that.
always tweaked in the back, you know.
You get the secret sauce right there, dude, that nobody can duplicate. Duplicate, and that's so cool.
So then I'm pretty cool, and my dad's pretty stoked. You know, that it was definitely worth the drive.
Dude, for
And-
sure,
and
right?
then- and
Your
then-
dad sees that like, oh, wow, this is...
Yeah, and then I go
Got a
home
photo.
and I just go back to skating again, whatever. And a week later, my dad goes, some guy by the name of Tom Sims is on the phone. I said, Tom Sims? Really? Wow. So I go, hello? Hey, Tom, this is Tom Sims. And you got to ride for me. You know, I said, okay. What does that mean? You know, and so now Tom's giving me skateboards and wheels and I'm cruising around and then next thing you know, I'm in Santa Barbara and we're skating the Charball with Chris Stropo and I drove up there and we're skating with Doug DeMoranci and David Hyde and Mark Hollander. They were all the really young Groms. Because I'm 17, they were probably 12 and 13.
Jeez.
You know, and we're skating the Charball with the Charball was this pool that the house burnt down and was all charred up and so we're all skating and next thing you know, Tom comes up there just freaking out. Come on, Inouye, you gotta go, come on. So he drives me to the Santa Barbara airport and puts me on a private plane with a couple of boxes of stuff and
PJ. We're talking PJ.
Yeah, and I fly to San Diego and I meet up with Warren Bolster and Stacy Peralta, Greg Weaver, Rodney Jesse's, Roy Russell was on that trip and Tom Stewart, and we fly to Bethesda, Maryland, or Gaithersburg, Maryland. And I get on the phone and call my mom. It's spring break.
From the trip?
Yeah. Spring break, and says you need to call the school because I'm not going to be at school for 2 weeks. And she says, what? And I said, well, I'm in Gaithersburg, Maryland. She said, what? You're where?
And that's where we got this
Yeah.
this November 1977.
Yeah, you know.
You got the cover from the trip.
Yeah. So.
Stash is a little thicker, right?
So yeah, so
What,
anyway,
cover, back
you
cover?
know, yeah, and
that what you're saying?
Yeah. And so my dad gets on the phone, and I kind of just mentioned what happened, and I'm gonna tour the East Coast with Skateboard magazine for 2 weeks. So.
Yeah,
So he
for
says,
2 weeks.
So he says, okay, great, you know, we'll talk. Come home, we'll talk. He sits me down when I come home, and he goes, I think you should drop out of that damn high school you're going to, and I think
Dad of the year?
and I think the skateboarding thing is going to pan out. I said, what do you mean it's going to pan out, Dad? So I think you can get these companies to pay you to skateboard. Sounds like, you know, they flew you out to this trip, and so I called Tom Sims and said, hey, Tom, my dad said I can drop out of high school because you're going to pay me.
So that's how it's done.
That's how it was done. That's how it was done
That's
for me.
how negotiations go. Huh?
And he said,
You're gonna pay me.
and so he said, great, let's you know, let's start that. And the magazine hadn't come out yet.
Oh, so you didn't even know.
No, you know, and so
And Tom Sims didn't know you were gonna get a
it
cover.
takes a while. And
What
so-
kind of cheddar biscuits cash flow is flying around that they got private jets going to trips?
Well, it wasn't a private jet. It was just a regular Cessna plane, and
Is
then,
it
and then we
that's
got on a commercial airlines.
but still, like you
but-
don't hear people renting Cessnas
No.
to go on trips. Those are like
we
the
don't,
taxis
yeah,
of airplanes,
yeah,
basically.
but-
When you go to Alaska to go to someone like Haynes or something to meet up with the heli crews, I remember we take Cessnas and They're kind of scary, but they're
They
like
are.
taxis almost of airplanes, and you probably they load in 6-7 people. And
Yeah. Well, for me it was
Stacy just rented one.
well,
or, I mean,
no,
Tom
well-
just rented one.
Well, for me, it was just me and the
Just you.
pilot that flew me to San Diego.
They just
And-
wanted you to catch up with
Yeah,
everybody?
and then we got on Delta Airlines to
Yeah.
go back east. You know, and so because
He just wanted you to catch
well,
up
he had
with
to,
the crew.
Yeah, he had to get me there quick,
Okay.
and so
Still,
and
dude,
that
that's a
was
commitment.
the and you know. Maybe his friend had the plane. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't
you're
know.
just a little
I'm
kid.
just like it's just
Yeah.
my head's just
Yeah,
spinning.
you're just like, let's go.
Yeah.
And so you ask him, he's going to pay you.
And so we start doing contract negotiations, you know, and
Just
and,
you and him, or is
yeah,
anyone helping
well,
you?
I had this guy Mike McCoy that would drive Chris Jopel and I around, and he delivered court subpoenas for 32 different attorneys.
Oh, jeez.
So we would go all across the LA Basin. So he would drop us off at Vermont Drop, and we would skate, and he would go do subpoenas. And he'd drop us off at like Paul Revere or Kennard or this skate park or this skate park. And so ultimately he became my manager.
Oh, nice.
And so during the negotiations, I would not have to talk. I would just talk to him. Hey, we need to do this. We need to do this, right?
Yeah, you gotta. That's how you get good. When you're doing it yourself,
And
it's just so
and
hard.
so I was doing that, and then Warren caught wind that I was negotiating with Tom, and Warren says, "You need to get photo incentives." I says, "Okay."
Did that exist for people?
It did for me.
But before you, I mean,
I don't know.
You don't even know.
I don't know.
You could be the first person to be locking in photo
He
incentives.
just told me a cover was worth $1,000. An interview was worth
that
$1,000.
number like kind of stuck too. I think. Too.
You
That's
know,
crazy.
interview was $1,000. The inside back cover was this.
Let's get paid every time my logo is published.
And then Warren said, "You want to get $25 for like the smallest photos." Because I'm getting this thing called a motor drive, and which is gonna shoot 9 frames a second.
What?
You know, and I'm gonna start. And we ordered it and do that. So I put that into my contract, and then Tracy was this girl who graduated from law school, and she wanted to into corporate law, so she decided to do all my contracts pro bono.
You're like forming a team here.
for the experience. So we would sit at Sam's, and then they would write something up, and we would go, okay, Mike and I are gonna go outside and we're gonna talk about it. And we would run down the store and we would fax it to her, and she would look over it, and she would fax it back to us with these changes. So we were going back and forth.
With facts.
Now it's July 6th. And Tom calls me, says, "You need to come up here tomorrow, and we need to knock your contract out because tomorrow's date is going to be 7/7/77."
Oh, wow. He sounds rad.
You know, and so we went up there and we knocked out my contract.
Done deal.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't know if you're comfortable, but what did a contract look like these back then in skateboarding?
I got $2,000 a month.
Boom.
Salary.
Young kid, 18, 17.
I got my photo incentives.
Boom. And it looks like you maxed them out.
Yep.
Was there a cap? We going no cap? What are we going on?
There was no cap.
No cap.
And then there was I was supposed to get 6 different pro models.
Oh wow.
With my name on it for that year. And then I think I got some kind of travel budget.
And so was there royalties on the product?
There would have been royalties.
Yeah.
In the end, skateboarding manufacturing was changing rapidly every day, and so I would get a sample and I would write it and says, "Oh, this is great. We should go with it." No, I got this new construction, and we did that. So in the end, we never came out with a board.
Damn.
Which I guess it could have been a breach of contract, but then Chuck Barfoot.
Oh wow.
He was working in the screen shop, So I went into Chuck and says, "Hey, can we do a Sims Tom Inouye's logo?" And so he burnt the screen, and I screened 2 T-shirts and 2 boards.
With Chuck.
Yeah, with Chuck, and out the back door without Sims knowing. So
crazy.
So there's 2 Tom Inouye models, and Jeff Amet has one of them.
Oh, so they're still around.
And the other one, I think someone has it, but it's laminated, and they just got the bottom.
I hope they got it like in glass case
and
at this point,
but,
man. That's crazy.
So it was,
and was Barfoot making skateboards back in the day?
No, not he.
No.
He was just working with Sims.
Okay,
he was,
and that's what kind of got him to put out. Because I always wonder, there's you get Burton, Sims, and I remember the Barfoot boards, they were a player, but then it just didn't make it. I got to get him on the show.
I think maybe he just didn't have the financial backing.
Yeah.
Although I think it was Darcy from Eastern Skate Supply or Atlantic Skate Supply, and I think he helped Chuck get the Barfoot out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Burton had some money with his wife's family. And, I don't know. Tom Sims sounds like he had some money.
And
so that makes sense. It's not easy.
And so for some reason, Warren took a liking to me, and he invited me in all the photo shoots that he was going on.
Wow.
And then at one point he called me and says, "Hey, the house down the street's for rent. You should call Sims." So I call Sims and says, "Hey, Warren called me. Said the house down the street's for rent." And Tom hangs up on me. I go,
he rented it, didn't he?
What the fuck just, what just happened, And then 3 hours, maybe 5 hours later, he goes, "You're moving to San Diego." I ran the house.
He just hung up and went and did this, dude.
Dude,
he sounds dope.
So I'm telling my parents I'm moving to San Diego.
And they seem supportive.
And so every person that Tom went to go shoot, we went and shot Eric Dressen for the first time.
Wow.
He was 9 years old. We went up to Costa Mesa.
On,
I got to go with him. Any place that he went and shot, I got to go. The Arizona Pipes, I got to go on the Arizona Pipe trip with him.
So this is the secret to stacking photos.
Yeah, and so
become good friends with the photographer.
Yeah, I guess,
treat him right.
And Warren was pretty progressive in his photos. I think he was just as progressive as all us skaters.
Yeah.
And so
you need that, right?
Yeah,
you need someone that's going to keep up.
And so, I learned from him what photo should look like.
Yeah, what it takes, right?
And so every time I went to a photo session, I had multiple different colored shirts.
Yeah.
Because that's how you
Dude,
photographers
the guy
want, right?
all black, man, he just doesn't get it, right? And you're there you can match to a spot if you need to. You can pop your colors. So crucial.
And then you could go skate one spot, but have 5 different shirts, so it could be 5 different sessions.
Yeah, true. 5 different days, basically.
Or so. And so I think that's how I got so many shots in the magazine.
Because isn't there one where you had cover, inside cover, back cover, spread, just stacked?
Unfortunately, you don't have
dude. I think I have it here somewhere too.
The one me flying out of the pipe,
coming off the pipe there.
So silver.
And a sequence in there of that too.
They added a 5th color on that thing, and that was silver, which cost them $750 to do that.
Dude.
And also, that was my interview thing.
That issue has a whole interview.
And
right?
so, and if you can, and then they had the motor dry sequence, so I would have a 9-shot sequence. So I believe I had 46 pictures in that magazine. Ooh. And so you got the cover.
They delivered you a bag of gold, basically, afterwards.
You got the cover. You got the interview,
yes.
so that's $2,000. I think the payout was $9,000 or so.
Dude, no cap.
And that's 1977.
Yeah, that's big money. If you're using 1977,
a lot of money.
Wow.
I did well.
You're almost going to put brands out of business when I had to pay that out.
You know,
and then on top of that, you're getting paid by your sponsors. And,
Right.
And then so many brands are seeing you. You're getting more sponsors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. When I looked at that of how much coverage you got, it's something like from what 77 to 80, you just just blew up.
Yeah,
You were the dude.
Yeah, probably probably 80. You know, and so
Fun fact.
Yeah, and you know, and I rose. I exploded.
Yeah, you blew up.
I just blew up, and you know, and then the first skateboarder poll came out, and that's when all the readers write in and vote for their favorite skaters.
So it was the readers, not the pro skaters.
Yeah, it was the readers. It was a skateboard poll.
Was it Transworld? Or?
No, it was Skateboarder
Skateboarder.
magazine, and Tony Alva got first, and I got second. Jay
Wow.
got third, and Tony
Jay Adams?
Yeah, Jay Adams. Tony beat me by a little over 600 votes, and I guess at one point we were just going back and forth. So I got second in the skateboarder poll, and
Dude, that's heavy.
Yeah,
That's a big deal, especially between those guys.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
you know, and then from there,
Did you realize the levity of that?
No,
You're
not
just
at
a
all.
kid having a great time.
Yeah,
Looking at those photo incentives, laughing, and going to the next spot skating. You didn't even probably care about the
you
money.
know,
You're just skating.
I think Jay Adams says it's best. You know, it was like we were on summer break the whole time.
Just
Yeah.
on summer break, enjoying life.
You know, and
Wow.
you know, but you know, in hindsight, it was hard because I didn't understand the value of money, also because
Yes.
I had so much of it.
And if you don't have someone in your corner that's helping you,
Right.
because maybe when your parents don't understand either,
Yeah,
because
and
they're working hard for their money.
I moved out of the house, and
Yeah.
so you know, I didn't. You know, years later, I asked why my dad didn't, you know, help me, and he goes, "Well, I could have, but you probably want to listen, and
Facts.
maybe not.
Dude,
I don't know."
He's probably right.
Yeah.
Because of that age.
Yeah,
Now you would. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or even 10 years later.
yeah, and so.
Does that mean that you spent a lot of it basically and didn't think about it, or?
Oh yeah, we spent all the
Yeah,
time.
you guys just
You
had
know,
good times.
I had no problem taking 15 people out to dinner, and then
I got money, we got money.
I was surfing, and so when the surf would come up, we would bail somewhere, and I definitely knew that I flew to the islands a couple of times on a whim because the surf was going to be good. And
Yeah.
just drive down to the airport and buy a ticket, and
Dude, incredible.
it's great.
Any regrets on that, or you're
No.
hyped because you had a great life? Dude, sounds like you did the right thing. for me, man.
Yeah, you could have regrets, and you could say, well, I could have invested my money, I could have bought a house, and
Is that happiness?
I could have done all that stuff, and I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
You know, and in fact, this one time I was walking up stone steps, and I was walking by this thing. This guy runs out of the house. Hey, you want to buy my house? And it was right on the bluff, on the beach, and he goes, $120,000, $1,000 down, $1,000 a month,
Damn.
and that's a lot of money, right? But
Yeah.
but I had it,
Yeah.
and but I just see my parents in the same house, and so I said, do I want to live here? But the rest of my life, I don't know.
It's scary.
And so I turned it down, and you know, I must have been about 10 years ago. I ran into Brad Logan, and he was a real estate agent at that point. I said, hey, if I would have lived in 512 Neptune, and I wanted to sell it today, how much do you think I could get for it? He goes, oh, today probably 1.2 million. You know, whatever. You know?
Of course,
I mean,
right?
So yeah, I mean, regret will always circle your mind, but
Yeah. But woulda,
What-
coulda,
what
what are you
can-
going to do?
yeah, what can you do?
And it's like everybody has that thing of houses were so cheap at this point. If you would have dropped in,
Right, yeah.
if I only bought 5 houses back then when they were only $20K,
Right.
I would have been rich. But dude, you couldn't. You would be so stressed out of your mind. And imagine how that would have changed your life,
Yeah.
it would have locked you down, and who knows, you wouldn't, I don't know, a lot of opportunities would be lost. And
Yeah.
I think you made the right moves. You gotta just enjoy life. We got one pass here, as far as we know.
Yeah. So,
Sounds like flying somewhere to surf.
you know,
Probably the right thing.
Yeah. So like even before all that stuff, they built the skate park Montebello a mile from my house, and I don't know what it might have been, the third, fourth, or fifth, and I just remember that the guys from San Diego came up to help build it and run it. So it was Bobby Piercy, Conrad Miyoshi, Steve Schischler, and Curtis Hesselgrave. And so they had tryouts. And the way Montebello was set up is that you had to take a test over here, and you had to pass the test to be able to ride this part. And then you had to take a test to ride this part. And anyway, it was kind of like, and the main run was this little dinky slalom or bank slalom that filtered into this little bowl, and that had this exit, and so it was always just one way, and everybody who was trying out was trying to just go down and make it through. And at the time, we'd been skating at a bunch of drainage ditches.
Yeah.
So, and this thing, I mean, you're talking 3 foot, 4 foot walls. You're talking dinky. So it was my turn to drop in, and I went down, carved the bowl, and then pumped back up the track.
Oh.
Right up to Curtis Hesselgrave, and I looked at him and says, "How was that?" And he goes, "You're hired."
Sick, dude.
So like all my friends that we skated together, we all got hired. So we're working at Skate Park Montebello.
I got a quick guess question around that.
Okay.
Strobel, is that how I
Yep.
pronounce it? So he dropped me a text. I asked him for a guess question, and he said, ask him how many times he kicked me out of Montebello and the road tour to Boulder.
See, it's funny because my story was leading up to that. So there's this little blonde hair kid who was sneaking in the park and skating, right? And everybody else was kicking him out. And then so Brad told me that I had to go kick this kid out. So I go up to this kid and says, "Dude, you can't be sneaking in. I gotta kick you out. I don't want to, but I gotta kick you out because you can skate pretty good." and he goes, "I got pools." I said, "You got pools? Hold on." So I go to Brad. Says, "We're not kicking him out. He has pools."
Meaning he knows where sick
He
pools
knows
are.
where some pools are.
And how to get in and make it happen.
You know, so I go back down there. Okay, you're in. We're gonna go get you a membership.
Nice, dude.
So and
a friendship was forged.
And his name was Chris Stropel. So,
and you guys ended up going on to travel around a lot.
And so he lived up in Sierra Madre, kind of the rich area, and there were just a bunch of pools. So
he had the pools.
So we had the pools, and we were sneaking into people's backyards and getting kicked out, and so we kind of went, we need to start a fictitious pool company.
Nice.
So we're thinking of things, and at the time, next to the original van store, you can take a color slide, and they can somehow scan the slide and print it on a T-shirt. So it was this picture.
That's tech for back then.
So it's a picture of me at the fruit bowl going over the stairs, and we put Inouye Pool Service, and in the front we put IPS, and this was IPS, the logo.
Born.
You know, and so
the fact that you did that is like the most amazing thing.
Yeah, and you know, that was 1976. So I was 17 and he was 16. And he had a driver's license. I didn't have a driver's license.
Nice.
At that
So
time,
you're getting a ride now.
Yeah, so we're going all around, you know. And then what was the second part of the question?
Something about the road to Boulder.
Boulder.
Wait, before we get off the IPS, so was it like a real company? Like,
No,
would you
we
be able to go and knock on doors to look at people's pools?
We did, yeah. I mean, we kind of did that. What we did was we found out when people were going on vacation.
Yeah, so you looked official basically back there.
We would put a sign on the thing, serviced by IPS, and then we would go drain their pool. and while we were draining their pool, we would look on how we can sneak in a couple of days later. So we kind of figured out that since we started this, the neighbors were going, oh, Stonie Budz is having his pool service while he's on vacation. Other than that, the neighborhoods were watching out. The neighbors back then, you knew all your neighbors. You knew what they were doing. You knew they were going on vacation.
People were talking.
Yeah, they were talking.
All of a sudden, there's 20 kids in the backyard. I always wondered how you guys pulled those off.
We had block parties.
Yeah, and nobody would say anything because he thought you were a legit company.
So we did that, and
wow,
during and then the 70s, the water shortage crisis hit, so people couldn't keep their pools filled.
Yes. You were forced to drain them, huh?
You're forced, or they just didn't do anything with them. So we went to, and then foreclosures started happening. Ooh. So I remember going to the bank and says, "Hey, my dad owns a pool service, and we would like to service all your pools that are foreclosed." So we would drain them, and make sure it wasn't getting mosquito infested, and so on and so forth.
Ruin a pool.
And my dad says we'll just charge $20 a month. So they wrote me a check for $20 and gave me a list of all the houses that were foreclosed that had pools in them.
Dude. Love that dad was a team player on this too.
Well, he didn't know. We just because we were young kids, so it's not like we could go. Well, we own the pool company.
Yeah, you got to.
No, my dad owned the pool
company.
You
have to. Back then, there was no way. And so where all the pools are. You have the list, and dude, amazing, bro. Yeah. Hey, we got to take a second and drop some ads, and we're gonna do that real quick, and we'll be right back. You've written a lot of boards. What makes these things stand out to you? Because I got to be honest, a new company, man, it's you better be making some nice boards. You know what I mean? To stand out in the landscape of today. And I felt like that board had it because you were bouncing around. Aaron, you looked. I don't know how you do it at your age, but you seem to be retaining the youth to some degree. And I guess it's just because you stay busy. You and LeBlanc.
Yeah. Was it Aaliyah or R. Kelly that said age ain't nothing but a number?
That's what
I feel that.
And have you tried the Malibu or no? Another board that they're putting?
Yeah, so the first board I got was a Malibu. And I thought that was super awesome and fun. Like, I love the shape of it just in general. Like, the way they crafted it, I thought was super cool. I didn't end up riding it how it was really meant to be ridden because it's kind of more of like a powder board.
Yes.
And I just ran the stance all the way forward to get it more centered over the contact points. And then I took it to Woodward and I rode it there. And it was totally fun, even though that's not really what it was meant for. And, because you got so much nose, so little tail and stuff. But that board rode awesome. And I know people ride that one like all over the place.
Yeah, it's kind of designed to be shredded around Mount Baker, I think. But in today's world, I feel like, not everyone can afford the quiver. And that it's definitely in the back seat. But like you're saying, you can push it forward and go out and have a good time on a place like Woodward. And that's dope. That's sick, man.
Yeah,
pretty.
It is kind of like
these boards poppy or what? A lot of snap.
Yeah, so like the 148 that I ride is, kind of like a true twin style freestyle all mountain board, and that one's got lots of great pop, and it's designed to be, more centered because that's how I want to ride.
Dope brand, good people that are passionate about snowboarding, just like you and I are. And it's funny, they originally, one of the shapers and creators of the brand made this board behind me, the Malibu, for his cousin, I think, and just wanted to make him a cool custom shape. So he made this board, and turns out people were just loving it. Everyone who got on it loved this board. So they were like, we're putting this in the line, and it became the Malibu. They submitted that to White Line's board review for 2023-24. This bad boy won one of the top freeride boards of the year, and that's huge. You're going in the ring against, the biggest companies out there with Burton and Nitro and Solomon, these guys who have years and years and years of R&D down, and they've kind of perfected the science. Capita's got the mothership, dude. And all these guys rightfully also have boards in that category that have won awards. But, to sit neck and neck with them is a big deal, and it just goes to show that this board rips. And if you're looking for a new board, the Malibu is the board you're going to want to grab. And it's only from now until the end of the year, so grab one. You will not be sorry. This board, just look at the shape, man. This board just wants to go. Get that thing in some powder, and you're going to have one of those days you're never going to forget. Check it out, man. I wouldn't steer you wrong. These boards are made top quality by top quality people, and it doesn't get any better than that, man. Support these guys on the come up, man, because they got big things coming in the future. But the Malibu's where it's at right now. Let's go. Before I get deep into the ads, man, woo! The re-release here. Blotto's phone book, dude, this is epic, man. Blotto basically goes around, we all have our phone in our pocket, and our phone is now a camera. Blotto just breaks it down in here. He travels, man. This guy travels like a champion, and he really utilizes his phone camera, of course, just like we all do. But also, he kind of gets into, in his intro here, he just talks about how useful your phone is in capturing life's moments, no matter location, environment, or time of day. I'll share knowledge, techniques, stories, and ideas in hopes that these words and photos will inspire you to take more pictures while evolving your photography with a newfound perspective and respect of your surroundings. So, dude, not only is he showing you his dope photos, but he's letting you in on some secrets, man. We're talking about long time photog here, man. And he's letting you in on it. Not only is he a longtime photographer, he also is the guy that gave me my first camera. I got Blotto's hand-me-down, and started me off, man. So let's let him start you guys off. Now I noticed on the back here it's all DeanBlottoGray.com, but I also noticed this thing's for sale at the Slush, the magazine website. So get yourself one, man. And also, when you buy one of these, it supports snowboarding. It supports Blotto out there making more of these, and the cycle continues, man. The culture thrives. Support Blotto, and get yourself Blotto phone book. I'll be keeping one of these on set, and be checking it out from time to time as well. Boom, new stuff in the merch shop. What up now? Stickers. Woo! Who doesn't love stickers, man? Stonie's, Budz, merch shop. We got stickers in. Bam! There's sticker packs going on. There's Gnomie stickers. There's So Good My Dog stickers. There's Boarding House, Podcast Studio, Stonie Roads exclusive, son. We had it all, man. There's big sticker packs, little sticker packs. Cool thing about sticker packs is, the small ones, $9.95. The big dogs, like, I think $13.95. Don't quote me on that. But I think that's what it is. And that's dope, man. Just something cheap. And when you make an order that ships from here, like a signed print, I usually try to throw a sticker in too. I also got these thank you photo cards in, which are pretty dope. and that's from the merch shop. For the estonephoto.com, my Stony Budz print shop. I'll pop the link up. Check it out, man. I got photos from throughout my career, all sizes, museum quality. They all have a white border, kind of like this dog. It also says the rider's name on there. Like I said, they go from I think 8x12 all the way up to big old photos. So I mean, you look around in the studio. What gives this place the vibe is the photos, and it's really what kind of livens this place up. So yeah, that I think is kind of, you need to get photos on your walls, and I think it helps with depression, man. It keeps you stoked. It creates a vibe. It wants to get you out snowboarding. It gets people talking. It just lifts a cloud of depression, maybe, because you're just surrounded by cool stuff. And you know, there's plenty of other photographers to choose from. Artists, man, like Gucci Ghost, and that stuff can get kind of spendy, but woo, that stuff will uplift. You just check that thing out and be like, boom, that's dope. But you know, it's Stony Budz print shop. Let's go get some of that. Look at these coasters. First of all, I don't even know where I got these. I think the Gnomes built these. They're pallets, just like we used to use to build like kickers out when we were doing jibs. The Gnomes built a bunch of pallets, man. So I got these as coasters, and pretty tight, dude. I didn't know the Gnomes were doing that. Yeah. So you know, for Gnomes by Gnomes. These things were handcrafted by the Gnomes. It's Gnomie Budz, dude. This is I think I got 11 ounce, 15 ounce, 20 ounce, the big dog. I haven't even seen that yet. You know, paying homage to fallen good friend J2 right here, and it's me as a gnome, kind of paying respect to snowboard culture. And I always wanted a board collection, and this is the extent of my collection. In here, I got like 5 boards, and instead of a board collection, I'm now getting a coffee mug collection that features the boards as well as the kits of you know, the fits that the people were wearing in that time. Like Deadlung, this is a fit that Deadlung would wear when he had the nug board, which is dope. There's things like the Grocer skull board, the Libtech, and there's some new ones in the works too, of course, kind of leaking them out slowly here and there. I think I'm going to start popping out like one a month or something, just the slow creeper. On the Patreon, there's actually the Mug of the Month membership tier, and that's like for the price of a mug. I think it's like 20, 25 bucks a month, because I think a mug with shipping is around 25 bucks. And, you know, you'll get a new one each month. And before you know it, man, you will have a sick Gnomie Mugs collection at the crib, featuring the snowboards and paying respect to the pro snowboarders that made it all happen. Word up, man. And let's, yeah, I think that about does it. Let's get back to the show. And I think, boom, let's do it. Let's see where Wally's at, man.
Boulder.
Yeah.
Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, it is Boulder, Colorado. Okay.
Boulder, Colorado.
Good spot.
It was the Hester series. Well, in fact, Boulder had a pretty fucking sick park. And I think Boulder was that time where my contract with Sim was coming up, and at that time Sim's got pretty freaking big, to where he now has a board of directors. And so when my contract was coming up, the board was going to him and says, why are you paying him this much money when we can get 5, 10, 13-year-old kids and get them with free product?
Damn.
Right.
Age-old questions that board of directors come
Right,
in
you
and
know,
ask since the beginning of time.
That's like everybody's career, right?
Yeah.
Why do you pay him when you can just get these young kids, right?
Fact.
And my reasoning is, well, yeah, you can get those young kids, but you're sending me all over the U.S., and I'm able to talk to the young kids as well as I'm able to talk to the parents who are going to buy the skateboards. So anyway, I decided to leave Sims, and I was going, and Chris had left Sims, and he got hooked up with Castor, which Castor made surfboards. And so now Henry Hester, who was a slalom racer, developed a pool contest series called the Hester Series. And Boulder was one of the stops. So Chris and I decided to drive out to Boulder in his Volkswagen Bug, stack of cassette tapes that we're gonna freaking play on the way out there. And so we're driving out there, and the first time you see the Rocky Mountains, you're fucking blown away. I mean, you are blown away. You know, I mean, we grew up by the mountains in the San Gabriel Mountains, but fucking the Rocky Mountains is fucking something else. So our whole thing was, we're gonna drive to 14,000 feet. We're gonna crack open some beers and smoke a joint.
Little John Denver playing in the background, maybe Rocky Mountain High.
You know, because you hear that at elevation, you're gonna get beer's gonna affect you more, and all that, right? So we get around 10,000 feet, and his car is kind of sputtering and not running very well. So we pulled in the gas station, and the guy said, well, we need to fix your car to drive at this elevation. So we get to 14,000 feet off of Independence Pass. Maybe not 14,000, 12,000, whatever.
Yeah, whatever Independence
whatever
Pass
it is, you know. And we crack open a beer and smoke a joint, and next thing you know, I was like, holy fuck. Oh my God. So anyway, we go to the Boulder contest, and Dave Moron, he worked for Kryptonics, so he gave me a Kryptonics skateboard, so I'm gonna ride Kryptonics. And they're schmoozing me, and we go in the contest, and Chris, he invented the rock and roll board slide and the alley oop, and
rock and roll too, or no?
No, he didn't. But he pushed Tim Martin invented the rock and roll.
So he pushed it to a rock and roll board slide. He pushed it
board slide, and the alley oop. And
alley oop too. That's insane.
And so he was the first skater that really took airs to the height, 3 feet, 4 feet, and
landed on and doing legit.
So he. In qualifying, he qualified first going into the finals, and Eric Gresham was competing, and Eric Gresham showed us the foot plant, and so
showed you. He just straight. Was he doing them, or he was like, "Hey, bros"?
Yeah, he was doing. I guess he gave what do you call it? Yeah,
just
you know,
boom,
and so. So Chris wants to get up the next morning before the finals and learn how to do foot plants.
Sick,
right? So he's doing it, and I'm going, I don't know if you really need it. You're fucking.
Yeah, you already got
you're
got
killing
the airs,
it. You're qualified first. You know, you don't really need the foot plant. I don't think you do, because I think maybe Eric was maybe in second. I'm not can't remember, but Chris ends up fucking slamming.
Dude, you can one-footed type of stuff. You can get worked.
He slams fucking hard. So now he's kind of out, and he's and they had a discipline called doubles. So you skate 2 people in the bowl.
Wow.
And so Kurt Kimball and I, we did doubles, and we ended up winning that part of the contest. But there was a guy in the crowd, Dan Murakami, who lived in our neighborhood, and I think we met him, you know, at the skate park, and that's how we kind of met him in Montebello. And he was out there, and he was Dan Fogelberg's guy that took care of all his guitars, Dan's guitars. He was the one who's tuning the guitars and taking it out to Dan Fogelberg on the stage.
Sick.
So he's in Boulder, and he goes, "What are you guys doing after the contest?" I thought, "We don't know yet." He goes, "Well, I am house sitting Fogelberg's house on the Continental Divide. He bought this house, but we think the house is haunted, so he's gonna move out." So we went there, and Of course, we're doing a lot of drugs, a lot of coke, a lot of smoking weed, and so on and so forth. And this house is just a beautiful 3-story house, just white fluffy carpet, and
You talking about the cocaine or the carpet?
well, both. and so yeah, it's like. And I remember the realtor would come up and ever show it at one time. And then we went into town.
How long were you staying here?
We ended up staying, I think, a little over a week.
Okay, long enough to find out if this place is haunted or not.
So, yeah, so we were staying downstairs. But every night we would go and close all the doors. Shit you not. In the morning, the fucking doors would be open.
Everyone.
And every now and then you hear a door slamming and shut, but...
And you're talking closed, you'd have to turn the handle.
Yeah, but we're smoking a lot of weed and doing a lot of coke. So
and is one person messing with everybody?
It could be the drugs.
How many people were with you?
Just the 3 of us.
Oh, okay, wow.
And we went to town, and there was a double door that was completely locked that we didn't have the key for. Oh. And we go to town, we come back, and the door is wide open. And there's leaves on.
And you don't have the key?
No, we don't have the key. So we called the realtor to see if the realtor came, and they did not. Oh. So there was definitely some weird shit, and we can understand why he wanted to sell.
Yeah.
But at one point, the door knocks, and Dan goes, "Hey, go into the door," and I go into the door, and who's at the fucking door? Joe Walsh.
What?
Joe Walsh.
Seriously?
So Joe Walsh and Dan Fogelberg had a recording studio in Netherlands. Right?
Damn,
so Dan Murakami knows all these guys. So we end up going down to the recording studio.
No.
And they're playing guitars and Joe Walsh, and we're kind of like just sort of yelling into the thing, and we're trying to make music, blah, 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 all this stuff. And so anyway, a few months later, Dan Murakami goes, "Hey, here," and gives us each a 45. And Joe Walsh had recorded that night.
What?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
And I ended up giving mine to my eldest sister because she was really into
Big fan?
So she was really into the Eagles. But anyway,
dude, that's crazy.
But anyway, Chris started getting sick. He's getting these side pains, and he's fucking. I mean, he's doing really horrible. So we decide to.
You've been gone for months.
Yeah. So we decide to beeline it back to Cali, and Dan Murakami decides to come with us. So there's 3 of us in this Volkswagen Bug, and we just beeline it home.
Yeah.
And we get home, and Chris goes home, and next you know, his mom's taking him to the hospital, and he ended up having appendicitis.
Wow.
On the verge of rupturing.
Oh, wow.
And I think that all came from that slam
Damn,
that he
dude.
took.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so it had been just in there festering.
So,
and
yeah. So
had you not gone home, it would have ruptured, and who knows where you would have been on the road.
Yeah, who knows? He might not have been here. Who knows?
Crazy. Crazy how that works.
Yeah.
You got to trust no one to listen to your body.
But that was definitely a fucking sick trip.
Dude, was Walsh pretty cool or what?
Oh, yeah.
He sounds like
totally
it.
Cool. Totally cool, and, he'd be playing, we'd be going, just random shit,
How cool is it that he was just down, too, to record?
Well, we didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knew. He just hit record.
Yeah, you thought you were just jamming.
Yeah.
But even just to jam with you guys, that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Like, what a cool dude.
It's totally cool.
And the ghosts were probably jamming out, too.
So that
So you
really
believe in
cool.
ghosts?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean,
crazy.
I mean, sometimes
energies, spirits.
You can feel them,
Yeah. That's crazy to the point where he's selling the house. Like that's serious. That's like some shit's going down. Like every night, I can't deal with this. If you're selling a house, it's that bad. Yeah, it's wild stuff. How that works. Wow.
But yeah, it's pretty wild.
Do you have a recording of you guys jamming with Walsh?
Like I said, I gave the 45 to my
Yeah.
sister, and I ended up framing it and
Yeah.
and giving it to to her for Christmas. So I'm
cool.
pretty sure she still has it.
Yeah, I'm sure she still has
Yeah.
it. That's really cool.
You know, I guess it's just a matter of being able to find a record player that would play a 45.
Ooh, dude, I bet there's collectors out there.
I think there
and
are.
I think those things come back.
Yeah.
Like people
I
are
think
getting tape
I
decks
think-
going and
yeah,
films
yeah,
going. I got a
so-
tape deck over there actually.
Yeah.
That's tight, dude. So the skate career seems like it was pretty fruitful.
It was.
What got you like to move on, I guess?
Well, so I elected to go skate for Caster, and we came out with a couple of models. It did really, really well. And then kind of, I was always intrigued with surfboard manufacturing, and we would always go down to Caster to get our skateboards, and I would always go into and watch Gary Goodrum or Billy Caster shape, and Paul Caster was the airbrusher, and Stan Goodrum did the fins and the hot coat and so on and so forth, and I was really intrigued with airbrushing, and so I asked Paul if he would teach me, and if he needed any kind of help, and he goes, yeah, I'll teach you, but I don't lend out my equipment. And so I went to the art store that day, and I bought an airbrush, and came back and said, Paul, I got an airbrush. And so he taught me how to airbrush, and so I'm kind of working, and then at the same time across the yard, the industrial complex was Watson Laminates, and Watson made furniture, but Billy got him to make skateboards for us.
Oh, wow.
And he started making skateboards with epoxy resin and fiberglass. So I ended up going...
What was it before that?
Just regular wood and glue.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
okay.
yeah, maple and glue.
And so this is stepping it up.
And
stepping
so,
it
yeah,
up a notch.
and it's all because Billy was in surfboard manufacturing, and so he wanted to put fiberglass in it for strength because Billy was all about quality in his surfboard, so he wanted quality in his skateboards. And so I ended up going and working for Watson as well as still skateboarding. I wasn't traveling as much because Bill didn't have the deep pockets. I would go every now and then and do some traveling, or our shop would bring me out, or a skate park would bring me out. And so I ended up going and working for Watson Laminates, laminating.
Sorry, dude. The old French bulldog. This house is haunted too.
Yeah. and so I laid up all the caster boards. So truthfully, when you bought my model,
I can go get rid of him. My wife doesn't break him up, but let's keep going.
That when you bought my skateboard model, that you actually bought my model because I laid up probably 80% of all the caster boards.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me go get rid of him. Sorry, dude.
So now I'm skating for caster and making the boards. And
Did you miss the road, or were you stoked to? It gets to be a lot, right?
yeah, I mean, I was still going on trips, but
Yeah.
it wasn't all the time. I think
Kind of better.
I think when I was 19, when I was skateboarding for Sims, I traveled probably 300 days out of that year.
Come on,
A lot.
really?
I was everywhere.
Dude,
Everywhere.
that's heavy.
Everywhere. I would fly to Florida for the weekend, and then
Everywhere you needed to be.
So he would fly me to Florida for the weekend. Then I get a call from him and says, "Okay, now you're going to Ohio for 2 days," and then so sometimes
It takes a lot out of you.
Sometimes a 3-day trip would turn into a 2-week trip. In fact, one time I was in Oklahoma, and he says, "Okay, you're going to Vancouver, Canada." I said, "Okay, well, can you send some more skateboards and some shirts and some socks to Vancouver?" Well, so what I have when I get there. Because every time I went on a trip, I'd always give my skateboard away or raffle it off for
That's good style.
$1 and give the money to the skate park or the shop, whatever. But for me, I always gave my skateboard to the worst kid in the park.
Sick.
Never the best kid. Granted, after I gave that skateboard to that kid, it probably got stolen from the good kids. Who knows?
Hopefully not.
Well, yeah, hopefully not. But anytime
I beat him up and take it.
So I fly into Vancouver. All I know is I'm going to Vancouver for a week. I don't really know what I'm doing. I really don't know who's going to pick me up. I really don't know who I'm staying with. So I go to customs, and they're asking me what I'm going to do in Vancouver. I says, well, I'm here for a week for a skateboard thing. Well, where are you staying? Well, I really don't know where I'm staying. Well, who's picking you up? I don't know who's picking.
Red flag.
And so I'm in, and then they send me into this private room, and I'm just going over the story, and not breaking, and then they're trying to break me, and then all of a sudden this guy Monty comes in, and what happened was Monty knew the guys in customs, and he was going to be late. And so he told them to grab me and interrogate me until he got there.
No, dude. Dude, only in Canada would they be so cool that they're gonna do that. But Monty, nice style, dude. They're ready to put on gloves and strip search you.
And I have fucking weed and coke in my luggage.
In the luggage.
In the luggage.
And I don't know how close Monty was with them. I don't know how cool they would be.
Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, but at the same time, Castor was starting to put a team together. Stropel went to Houston, and he discovered this kid, John Gibson. So we put John Gibson on the team. We had like Kyle Jensen and Mitch Long, and we were getting a pretty rad team together. At the same time, Stacy was putting together the Bones Brigade. And so, in fact, we went to the Escondido contest, and I saw this kid ripping. And I went and talked to him and says, hey, my name's Wally. And, he goes, oh, my name's Steve. So, I would love to have you come skate for Castor. And he goes, oh, I'm going to go skate with Stacy Peralta because he just asked me like 20 minutes ago. And it happened to be Steve Cab.
Damn. 20 minutes off.
Yeah, 20 minutes off. But in the long run, it was better that he went with Stacy because after a few months later, Bill Castor ended up getting cancer.
Oh, no.
And so he decided to close his shop and stop making skateboards and spend the rest of his life with his family.
Yeah, good for him, man.
And so that's
a cool move that he did that.
So now
you can't be bummed. What are you gonna do?
Not at all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one, and then that's like 1983 or so, and that's when like the punk rock scene was starting to really come in, and skateboarding, it really gravitated towards skateboarding.
It really did,
and I grew up on listening to jazz and rock, and so I didn't understand the punk scene because I was always going and listening to really good music. And so and then people start dyeing their hair purple and orange and whatever. In fact, Dwayne Peters dyed my little brother's hair. He tried to bleach it blonde, but it turned orange.
Yeah.
With
that black hair, dude, you gotta like get in on it. Do it like 4 times.
And so it was kind of time to kind of walk away from skateboarding.
Yeah, you were just looking at it like this is too much.
Yeah, and then I just went into building surfboards. But anyway. But anyway,
that's pretty sick though that you knew
that I found at my parents' house, and it has been in the wrap since 1977.
Dude.
I brought it out here, and I think we should open it up.
Let's do this.
Let's see,
do you need a knife or it's good?
No, I think it's just one of these kind that folds out. And I got a fairly unique story to this one, too.
Dude, that's crazy, man. You've held on to that this many years.
Yeah. So
it didn't disintegrate.
I don't know. Did it?
Oh, wow. Look at the... Dude.
Wow. So that is a poster of me flying out of the pipe at Upland. And
hammer right
so
there.
This is kind of... I am imitating Jerry Lopez getting. Oh,
Well, that's why it was. What is that noise?
so I'm imitating Jerry Lopez getting spit out at Pipeline.
Dude, that is sick.
And so I'm getting spit out this big thing.
That is an epic poster right there. Who made the poster?
War Skateboarder magazine.
I was gonna say there's like no logos on
Yeah.
it, dude. It's just a sick poster.
There is. Right,
oh, they're very
right
very
down
small
there,
one.
Right.
Very sick. Man.
What does it say? Pipe Flight, Tom Inouye, photo Warren Buster.
Dude?
Copyright 1977. Skateboarder magazine.
Hammer photo.
So I was the first one to fly out of the pipe. And so that was pretty cool.
You just saw it and we're like, let's go.
Yeah, but anyway, Dave Dash and Steve Pesman call me and tell me to come down to the magazine, and I go there and so they show me this poster.
Whew.
And they said that they're going to pay me $75 for the poster.
Do you want to sign that thing, or what's that thing? What's going on with that thing?
I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet.
We'll let you marinate on that. He was flashing a marker around in the back.
And so maybe it might just go back in that plastic for another 40 years.
We need to like bury that thing.
Yeah.
Like
There-
time capsule.
There is one in my father's casket.
Really?
Yeah.
In the casket?
In the casket.
Underground.
Yeah, underground.
That's insane.
So grave diggers, you can go dig
Yeah,
it
there's like, people are like, can we get an address? Can we get an address on that?
Yeah, right. So anyway, Dave Dash and Steve Pesman tell me to come down to the magazine. They show me this poster, and I said, that's pretty fucking cool. And they're going to pay me $75. And I said, no, I want $1 royalty as well for every poster you sell. And they go, well, no, we're just going to pay you $75, and if you don't want to take the $75, we're just going to give the posters. We're just going to print a different posters for someone else.
$75.
You know, so I caved and I took $75. Had I known there was 25,000 of these in the back room,
Oh, they had them printed.
they had it printed already.
No, dude. And they knew that.
So that
Oh, there's no way they would have got off it
yeah.
because it was printed.
Yeah.
It was done.
Yeah, it was done.
No.
And from my understanding, it was the best-selling poster.
So they could have made more for all you know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, but hey,
Dude, who was doing that they already had 25,000 printed without you agreeing to it? And
well, you know,
just at the mags.
I think it's kind of weird. You know, I think when you sign a photo release and they take a photo, I think you own the photo.
Mm-hmm.
I think right. Most of the photographer owns that image.
Yeah, there's even like I forget what it's called, it has a name, but the second you click a photo, it becomes yours.
Property, yeah.
your intellectual property.
Yeah.
And that goes for, if I hand you my camera, even though it's my camera, the person that snaps it.
Especially when it's taken in a public space.
Yeah, it's in a public space. Like you lose the rights to it, basically.
Even though we went to Upland to go shoot this,
Yeah.
you know, so
I mean, there could have been some debate, or if you're there for like a company, it changes things, and
right, yeah, and so, but
so
hey,
yeah, I don't think that I don't
but
even know if
I'm-
that thing was created yet with
Yeah.
a fair use act or whatever it is.
But I guess if they sold all 25,000 of them, that I was on 25,000 kids' bedroom
That's
walls.
dope. Yeah, that's money.
You know, so
That's street cred times
Yeah.
25,000 right there.
you
So
know, but
it's dude, that's dope. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I guess it would have been sick if you had $1 a poster or 75 cents a poster.
yeah.
I can't believe they said no. Like, that's some hardball, dude.
They
Whoever
were-
you were going against is like, knowing they're already printed, just like,
It was
hardball.
hard because you know the magazine wasn't paying me, the sponsors were paying me.
Yeah.
You know, and so, and I think the magazine
dude, nowadays
the
mags
magazine
don't
had all
even-
the powers.
The mags don't even ask
Yeah.
nowadays for something like that. They
Yeah.
would just put out a poster. So I think things changed with the use.
I think so too, but
Yeah, they asked the photographer, but that's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
That's sick though. That photo's insane.
so but
First
yeah.
dude to blast out of there.
But another classic story is, you know, we talked that I've been snowboarding. So I've been snowboarding since about 1977, maybe 78. I can't remember. You know, and there was an upland contest, and a skater from Salt Lake came out, and he came up to me and goes, hey, Wally, I have to show you something in my car. And we go to his car, and he pulled out a winter stick swallowtail.
Sick.
You know? And I was like...
You know what color it was?
Blue.
Blue. Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Dead long. He's a guy in this mug. He's got one of those at his house. Those are old and rare, and those are cool.
You know, and so... and I go, well, what's this? Well, it's kind of like a surfboard and a skateboard, but you ride it on snow.
You'd never seen one?
No, never seen one. And he goes, I'll tell you what, I'll trade you your skateboard for it. So I traded my skateboard for this winter stick.
Dude.
And the skater ended up being Arnie Hogue.
Wow, dude.
You know, so he's a heavy Salt Lake local.
Dude, that's insane.
You know.
Does he still have the skate, I wonder?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not. Well, who knows? But.
That basically just a new direction in your life.
Yeah.
Just formed.
You know, and then probably another 6 months later, Sims came out with that plastic molded snowboard that you put on the skate deck.
Yep.
You know, and so he gave me one of those, and
Tom Sims. So you guys were still buds.
Yeah. So well, I was still skateboarding for Tom at that point in time still, and so we started playing with that, and then his first snowboards he gave me, but you know the mountain was 3 hours away. And
which mountain? Big Bear? Or?
Big Bear. Yeah. You know, or we go up to.
And at your age, you didn't have a license. You said.
Or we go up to. Lake Tahoe and ride, you know, and you know the lift. They didn't let us on the lift, so we had to hike, you know, and the outerwear was jeans and wool sweater and Sorel boots.
Yeah, not really
ride
outerwear.
nothing, you know, and the bindings were bungee cords.
Dude, you're like at the level with all the board sports where like before the gear was anything.
Yeah. You know, and then Kurt Kimball and I we started shaping snowboards out of foam and just like surfboard shapes.
Sick.
And we did that, and we dabbled in it every winter. It would snow or we would take it to the sand dunes, but you know it really never caught on with me because it was fucking cold and you know. Jeans, you get wet,
dude. The gear was not there, man.
It was horrible,
tough,
you know. And, but we always did it, and then in '89, I decided to move up to Oregon. Actually, I got a phone call from this guy Bob Dale, and he said his airbrusher was going to Alaska to fish. So, and he heard that I was an airbrusher, and can he fly me up for 3 weeks and airbrush, so I did that, and I didn't know where Oregon was. I thought Oregon still had Indians and cowboys, and which they do, but I knew a windsurfer, and I said, hey, this guy by the name of Bob Dill wants me to fly me up to the place called the Gorge.
Sick.
So fuck, you're gonna go to the Gorge? It's so fucking sick, you know. And so I went up there and got into. Decided he offered me a full-time job, so I decided to move and flew home, sold my car, bought a truck, and was back in a week. Didn't tell my friends, didn't tell my family because I think they thought that I would, you know, they would talk me out of it. And at that time, I was an art director for a publishing company in Redondo Beach, and we were doing a bunch of coke and drinking all the time, going to speedway races, and I was just getting burnt out on it, and so I said, fuck, I'm going to move to Oregon.
I have a Patreon question from Trent Dix, and he asked what brought you to Oregon, so that's interesting. Digging in on the story, sounds like.
Perfect, you know? And so I moved there, and Bob said that he would pay my moving expenses. For $1,200, 1989, a lot of money. And then I get up there, and he rents me this big giant 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that overlooked the river. All my shit was in one corner of the living room, you know. And I'm going, fuck, what is this going to cost me?
Yeah, right.
You know, so I go down to the factory and says, Bob, what's my rent going to be in 3 months? He goes, $350, $3,500.
What?
No, $350, $3,500. No, $350.
Dude, that's what rent was there at the time?
Yeah.
Dude, overlooking Good River.
Yeah, it was sick. And,
So you're like, sign me up, I'll pay a year's rent right now.
And I think all the houses in downtown were going for 25, 30 grand or so.
Dude.
You know, and then, but anyway, so I'm airbrushing, and Mo Dixon and the Otrons were playing at River City, and so I go down there to go watch them, and who is there is Sonny Miller and Don Zabel.
Damn.
Right, and Sonny Miller was he skateboarded for me, and he is a photographer, and so they're up there. Go, Sonny, what are you doing up here? Oh, we're shooting snowboarding. What? It's August. He said, yeah, we're up at Timberline. You know, so the next day I drive up to Timberline and go snowboarding with him, and Zabel gives me a Nectar Zabel model.
Damn. So that was kind of right when those came out. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah.
I remember those, dude.
And
Wow.
and so now I'm like, oh, this is sick. Now I can go snowboard all year round. And then I met Tom Nordwall.
Was he
And-
running a camp back then?
No, he wasn't. Not at that point. I make 700 boards in the wintertime, so when summer came, his shop was just fully stocked. But I took a job up at Timberline as I met Kevin Flanagan, and he said, come on up and teach snowboarding. And he was the first snowboard instructor, and I was the second snowboard instructor at Timberline.
Nice, dude.
And so that was sick. So now I get to ride a lift, but it's so funny because I set my snowboard up duck feet.
Really?
Yeah, back in '80.
Just 'cause you weren't sure? 'Cause that's how you surfed?
That's how I
Or
skateboarded.
skateboard?
And those guys were saying, no, you have it all set up wrong. You got to be posy.
Posy,
Right,
dude.
you know, because it was carving, you know.
True, there was some heavy carving.
And there
going on.
wasn't any jibbing yet,
Yeah.
you know, and so so I said, you really, it just doesn't feel right, but and then I met Steve Cruz in the rental shop, and he was talking to us, and he wants to bring snowboards in the shop, so I went from the snowboard instructor to the rental shop, because you only get paid if you have a lesson, right? So.
Yeah, true. You gotta have a lesson.
Yeah, so he made me the snowboard supervisor, and I brought snowboards into Timberline in '90,
Wow.
and it was two PJ race boards from Burton,
Nice.
and 2 Craig Kelly Airs, and a couple of Kempers.
Really, some campers.
And I think one of the Kempers was that big 180 they had.
wow.
You know, I mean, back then all the boards were like 165. They were fucking big.
boards are big back then.
Yeah, they were huge. But then anyway, I made this cardboard cutout of a half pipe, you know, like a mini ramp.
Because you're thinking back in your skate days.
And I go to Steve Cruz, dude, we need to build this in snow. This would be sick. Let's build it in snow.
Damn.
So he built it right outside the lodge, and it was like a 3-hit thing, and I put on the first snowboard contest. So like Estes was there,
Nice.
Mike Jacoby, Chris Carroll, Chris Jameson, Temple Cummings came down, Jamie Lynn came down.
Wow.
All these people came down, and
That's heavy.
and then they were kind of like I think Jacoby and was one of the well-known ones. So same with Estes.
Yeah, Jacoby was
Yeah.
like pretty big with Burton.
Yeah,
Back
the
then.
J tear.
Yeah.
That was before when
right, the J-tear.
going upside down was illegal.
Yeah.
So that's where Jacoby did
that's
the J
right.
tear.
I forgot that it was illegal.
Yeah.
Dude, the J-tear didn't really hold. It didn't. It's not called that anymore. Huh?
I don't think so. Yeah,
That's crazy. I wonder what happened
I don't know
there.
what it is. And so we did that, and then I remember Estes comes to me, hey, there's these snowboarders coming from Tahoe, and can you put some up at your house? And at the time, I was with my girlfriend Catherine, who ends up being my wife, and so we say yeah. And so who stayed at our house was Damian Sanders and his girlfriend Brandy.
Wow.
Dave Stonie.
Brandy.
Tucker Franson.
Damn, Tucker too.
Noah Snaznik.
Wow, dude.
And one other guy. Fuck, I can't remember his name. So yeah, it was like
random crew of champions.
Yeah, so we took him to Meadows and Timberline and Ski Bowl, and following those guys around was like fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you just like, you were like, wow, these dudes.
Yeah, like, yeah.
This is no joke.
Okay, this is snowboarding.
Yeah.
I
can just imagine, too, a young Selaznick and young Jamie, just the shit they're doing. And Damien, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then that summer.
Did Brandy shred or she just hang out?
No, she was in Penthouse.
Yeah, she was Penthouse.
She rode.
What would she do? Yeah, she'd come up and ride.
She rode, but it was just, she's the Penthouse girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, seeing there was a snowboard. They gave her, a poster or something. Yeah. A snowboard mag.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Every young, at my age when that came out, every young dude was just like,
exactly.
Brandy. And it made Damien just be this, this god
superstar
among men. Yeah, the superstar, bad boy. Leather jackets.
But he was pretty bad boy anyway. He was the guy doing the big backflips off the cliffs and stuff, right? Yeah.
Big,
in hard boots.
Yeah, just hard boots and blasting so big that I don't think he had a chance of landing. But dude, it's definitely that's crazy.
Yeah, and then that
so you're
summer,
putting the guys all up.
Yeah, and then it must have been summer '90, and that's when I went. That's when Nordwall and Estes started coaching for the USTC, United States Snowboard Training Center, Bob Gilly. And so...
Was the snowboard camp... It was up by then, huh?
Yeah. It might have been the first year or second year. It was either that and Chris Carroll had the camp.
Yes.
Right? And that's when we started making little jumps and start digging half pipes up there. And I remember the growers would just give us a trench like that, right? And that's when Kurt Heine came in and brought all these tools, big long 12-foot shovels, super heavy, which became Heine tools.
Oh wow, dude! All these things that just went on around this time.
It was pretty sick, And in summertime, Craig Kelly would come up and ride, and I remember Jeff Brushy coming out, and the Coughlin brothers, and Dave Dowd. And so what happened was Tim came to Bob Gilly and says, "Hey, I'm going to bring 12 snowboarders out from Colorado. Can I use your facility?"
Yeah.
And that was his first camp, Wendell's camp. And,
wow.
And it was Tim and Dave Dowd and Kevin Delaney were the coaches.
And that's, dude, I remember I went to camp almost around that time. I was just a young kid. I don't know how old I was, but so stoked. Changed my life.
Yeah, it was.
I actually have a guest question from Chase Birch, and it says, ask Wally, this is a Patreon guest question. Patreons are the people that support the podcast, and couldn't do without you guys. Thank you very much. But Chase asks, ask Wally about putting shish kebab skewers in birthday cakes at Wendell's. Is this something that happens?
Oh, shit. Yes. Yes. So at camp, I started making birthday cakes for the campers. And I would get these sheet cakes from Fred Meyer's, and I would cut terrain parks in them.
Oh, wow.
I would cut staircases. I would do these creek crossings and use brownies for rocks and what do you call those little stick cookies? I would do that for rails and then I would go out and cut off branches and put straws and have these trees in
little
there.
Little baby trees.
And I would write all the campers' names in it. And in fact, this one time I did it for this one 16-year-old girl. and she literally cried.
Wow.
And she said it was her very first birthday cake she's ever gotten.
No.
Her parents never got her a birthday cake.
You made this girl's life.
Yeah. And then you know
Dude,
about
good for you, man.
you know about adult camp. That was across the
Yes.
street, and they get to drink, and they get
Yeah, it's a little bit looser program.
we take them to the strip joints and all this stuff. But it was one of those guys' birthday, so I made this tall cake shaped like Mount Hood.
Nice, dude.
I mean, I out of toothpicks and fishing line, I actually made the Palmer lift on it.
What?
And it had took Wendell stickers and made, you know, like banners and stuff. And so since it was so tall, I had put these skiers in it. Right? So
Shish kebabs, if you will.
Yeah. And so I take it over to the adult camp, and there's, you know, 10, maybe 15 adult campers, and they're drinking, and they're getting wild, and
They're the time of their life out there.
you know, and so the chant goes, bite the top of the mountain off, bite the top of the mountain off, right? And so the guy goes like this, goes full force, bam, into the cake, you know, and he comes up with frosting. Next thing you know, blood just starts gushing down his face.
Oh, dude.
And so the skier literally hit him right here. I was
lost
so walked out.
Dude. Yeah, I
So
wonder how
locked
that
up.
would have unfolded.
Yeah,
I don't know how that got in there.
it was horrible. I think I have pictures of the cake. I'll send them to you.
Dude, I would
and-
love
and
to
so,
see that.
Yeah,
Dude, that's cool that
It
you were
was
doing
pretty
that,
sick,
but
yeah.
wow, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate that you almost lost an eye.
yeah. Like who was the first cake I made was for that girl photographer. She shot with a Nikon. She came out with
This is in the 90s, early 90s? 1990?
no, this is 2000,
Oh, Ashley Barker
2010.
from Canada?
No,
No?
I think she was out from Salt Lake because she came out with who did Cody get married to? What was her name? And Kelsey from Save a Brain.
Oh.
She came up with all them, and so the first cake I made was a replica Nikon camera.
Damn. Oh,
Yeah,
Montgomery,
Jill
dude,
Montgomery,
she's
yeah,
sick.
yeah.
I should have known that when you said 2010.
Yeah,
I was thinking that.
and so first.
Yes.
So the first cake I did was a Nikon camera.
So these were sick. Pretty
Oh yeah,
sick things you were
they
doing.
were sick. They were sick cakes.
Flexing into your cooking.
You know, and then I got
background.
the can spray for
To make
for
the
cakes
colors and-
all the colors, and
Dude, I had no idea.
It was fucking sick.
That's really, really. More swords in these things.
Yeah, you
Dude,
know.
that's insane. You
But-
made a little girl cry because it's her first cake.
But anyway, that was Chase was the camp director, and
Oh, he was.
and I was running the kitchen, and so I really want to give a shout out to my buddy here, Joey Capari. He was on my cooking team, and we're actually out here.
he's in the studio.
Yep, and so actually we're out here to cook for the Interlude Snowboard Trade Show that Chase puts on.
Awesome. Oh, Chase
And-
puts on
He puts it on,
sick,
and
okay.
so the first year I came out and cooked by myself for 300 or 200 people, cooking,
And-
serving, cleaning,
3 meals or 2?
three meals, and it was hectic, but I pulled it off. So the second year I brought Joey out, and this is our third year. I brought him out,
Nice work.
out again.
You know, you got hired back, so the food must be good.
Yeah,
That's what you hear and listen.
yeah,
Come eat my barbecue, Wally.
yeah.
I'm going to come hit the barbecue
So
up.
yeah, it's pretty sick to come out here and cook for all the reps and
Dude, for the
all
industry,
the shops.
huh? Yeah, all the shops, the
Yeah,
reps,
so,
some company people.
So it's pretty sick. So you know, and so I don't bring my nice snowboard. I just bring
We
my
doing barbecue.
I just bring my bindings because all the companies are doing demos up on the hill.
Oh, sick.
It's like so we get to demo all,
Yeah, you grab all
the
the
extra
equipment.
stuff. Yeah. So I just bring my bindings, and So we've been doing Powder Mountain for 2 years. This year we're Snow Basin, so I'll be pretty sick.
It switched, huh?
Yeah, so I've never been to Snow Basin. So
There's something going on where the resorts like switching private, the other resort or
well,
something.
I heard the guy from one of the owners from Netflix bought Powder Mountain. I heard
That's what's going on.
that's what I heard, and then now the show's moving into downtown Ogden, which is kind of cool. We just looked at the venue today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So not
I
this
think
year,
it's gonna be
but
sick.
next year.
Yeah, this year. This
Oh,
year.
this year.
It's at the Monarch
I didn't know that.
in downtown Ogden.
That's tight,
So
dude.
it's pretty sick.
And then you dip off to the mountain
Yeah.
and do the
Yes.
demoing.
So Joey and I
But in
will.
the evenings, it's probably gets wild.
We'll go up and ride from like 9 to 1, and then we'll come down and we'll cook and dinner.
He's trying to get your
and
attention.
Dinner's at 5. I think that's the greatest thing about working at Wendell's. You meet so many people. So Tim Gage worked at Wendell's.
You don't even know
yeah.
when you're meeting these people.
Right.
You don't know. And then you got to actually, I think about that now when you go to these places, dude. They're there because that's the future.
Yeah.
You know, they're the people.
But
everyone coming together, you know, like you got to meet everyone and be stoked and cherish those relationships.
So yeah, you got to give a big shout out to Tim. So, you know, Tim's that love-hate relationship
Yes.
for sure, but he's doing a great thing for all these kids.
Dude, for real.
But anyway,
and you're pretty involved with the kids. And,
the kids,
and
I
different
am.
things going on.
Yeah, but anyway, when I went back to Wendell's, I told Tim that I wanted to make everything from scratch, whatever, and make the food better because these are our next Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
But I remember I would always go and get Tapatio hot sauce for the camp, and it was session 2, 200 kids and 100 employees, and I ran out, but I didn't have time to go buy more.
Yeah.
And so I had just done a 14-hour day, and I go out to the jungle to skate, and Chase comes up to me, "Hey, Wally, I got a great idea. I think you should make hot sauce and bottle it.
What?
And I will market and sell it." And I said, "Yeah, whatever, Chase. I just worked 14 fucking hours.
You're all just put in a day.
I want to go skateboard." So I go home and I Google how to make hot sauce.
Sick.
Okay, cool.
So the idea stuck with you, right?
You know, and then so the next day my produce gets delivered, and so we have to chop 50 pounds of red bell peppers.
Wow.
And so I can't remember who I told to go get the red peppers, and they said, "Well, we don't have any red bell peppers," and they brought we have this. It's red, and it was red jalapenos,
Ooh.
Fresno, and so
Are those pretty hot?
No, not really. So I'm pissed off. I called Dale from Mount Hood Produce, shout out,
Props.
and I go, "Dale, where's my red bell peppers?" "Oh, I thought you said red peppers. When have I ever ordered red peppers?
Yeah, facts, huh?
What the hell?" So he goes, "Okay, I'll bring you my red bell peppers, and I'll pick up red jalapenos." "Oh, no, don't pick them up. I'll do something with them."
Yeah.
And so I worked another 14-hour day, and I go into my walk-in to rearrange it because we don't have time when the order gets there. And I said, "What the fuck's this box?" And I pull it off the thing, and it's the red jalapenos, Fresno peppers. So I Googled how to make hot sauce again. I spent another 2 hours and made hot sauce.
Wow.
And filled up all my Tapatio bottles and put it out. And Chase comes in and he say, "Hey, do you have some hot sauce?" "Yeah, you went out and bought some." "No, dude, I made that."
Damn.
And so we ended up buying some bottles from Amazon, and we made some hot sauce. We made the Fresno Chipotle, and we bottled it, and we sold it to the campers. And then the next day...
And everyone loves hot sauce.
And the next day, Chase comes with, 25 pounds of blueberries that he got from Powder Blue Organic Blueberry Farm that's a friend of his. And here, maybe you can do something with it, I said, "Well, maybe I can do blueberry pancakes or something, maybe I can fruit salad."
Yeah.
But so Google, "Can you make hot sauce out of blueberries?" And it came up, yes. So I made some blueberry habanero hot sauce.
Wow.
And
How
so
hot we talking?
I don't think hot sauce should be super hot.
Yeah. That's why I asked. 'Cause sometimes it's too hot.
I want flavor.
Yes.
And so we created Wally's pepper sauce. Woo. And so our motto is enhance your eating. So I don't think you should put hot sauce in it where it burns your mouth.
Yeah.
And now you can't taste your food.
No.
Right. So
yeah, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter.
Yeah.
You have some bottles.
But yeah, in fact, I brought you some bottles.
Yes. Dude, I love hot sauce.
I brought you pineapple orange habanero, which is one of our better sellers.
Yeah. Epic.
And then this is, I've been, yeah, you can open it. And people have been asking for a hotter hot sauce.
Yeah.
And so I know that the Carolina Reaper at the time is the hottest pepper. Now the guy who invented the Carolina Reaper came out with the Axe pepper, which is hotter than him. So I brought you some Carolina Reaper peach carrot.
So that's hotter than this.
Yeah, this is a new flavor.
Hotter.
This should be hotter. But even,
that's got some kick with some flavor, like you're saying.
Yeah, you're gonna get the flavor first, and then the kick.
And then the kick.
If anybody of you guys want to buy it, you can go to wallyspeppersauce.com and order it. I do donate 3% of my sales to Board for Breast Cancer, Save a Brain, and Grind for Life. So you can use
3%.
Yeah,
good numbers.
Yeah, and so
I'll also put the website up as you say it. Yeah, and the link. It is delicious.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing
that
this
hot,
sauce?
right? Since 2014.
Dude, incredible, man. And also, dude, it's so sick because how often do you get a hot sauce with a sick photo like this on it?
Yeah.
This is so dope, dude. And so how many different flavors altogether?
I have about 7 different flavors, but I really only market 4.
Oh, he's gonna sign my hot sauce bottle. he's throwing the marker over it. Yeah, I saw on the website. There's a blueberry, and dude, I really like how you're bringing in the pineapple like this because you don't get that a lot.
Yeah, I do a wasabi jalapeno.
I saw that on there. Yeah.
And I kind of try to develop that one for a sushi connoisseurs. Yes. Instead of having to take your soy sauce and putting your wasabi in there, now you can just shake it out of a bottle.
Dude, that's crazy. They don't have that. Yeah. That's awesome.
So it's got wasabi in it, jalapenos, a little bit of habanero in it. It's got some soy sauce, ginger, garlic.
And that's on the site now.
Yeah, that one's kind of a limited edition, and so it's on the site, off the site. And also in Hood River, we have cherries and apples, and so every
go with what's in season.
So every year I do a cherry habanero, and what I do is I go to the orchard and pick the cherries, bring it home, and make hot sauce. So that cherry is getting in bottles literally maybe 4 hours after I pick it.
What? That's crazy.
And it's just a limited edition that I do during cherry season.
Do you have to do anything special to get it to not go bad?
Vinegar.
Vinegar, that's the trick.
Vinegar.
Which is also like a quintessential hot sauce thing.
Yeah, and then you got to cook it and.
Dude, I bet this stuff on some chicken wings is pretty legit.
The only other way that you can preserve it is fermenting. But I've been kind of dabbling in fermenting, but it's kind of really weird to watch your food kind of bubble and
go bad.
Yeah. So
and then it's good.
It's good. Yeah, it's supposed to be really good for you, but then you have to keep it refrigerated.
Yeah. And this you can just keep out on a table.
You could, but I mean, I recommend after you open it to refrigerate it.
Dude, those are incredible.
Yeah. So thank you.
Get out there and buy these, guys. This is so good. If you like hot sauce, get some.
Yeah.
Are these on the same sites as the mug and stuff, or does it have
Yes.
its own?
Same site. Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And I imagine you got some T-shirts with this kind of stuff
T-shirts,
on
you
it.
got stickers, everything can be had on Wally's Pepper Sauce.
Are you still making maps to pools, or Have people mail in where the good pools are to train.
You guys can always send in the maps, but
let's get a map system going. Dude, pool skating,
pools are hard. I mean,
draining pools and like that, it's like a lost art.
Yeah,
it seems like.
you like Steve Alva's a iconic pool skater, and Stropo and I taught Steve how to find pools when he was 15 and we were 18, and so and he'll even agree that we have multiple pools, and then we have some shitty pools, that just aren't that great for skateboarding. Yeah. Maybe they're kinked or whatever. And so those are the pools that you give away.
Yeah, gotcha, dude. That's some good techniques. That's good advice. Good advice for the kids.
But it's so funny. I was wearing an IPS shirt at the bar in Hood River, and this girl comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I noticed your shirt. You have a pool service." I said, "Yeah, what?" She says, "Well, this house that we're renting has a pool, but it's got some cracks and stuff in it, and can you come and see if we can fix it and fill it up?" I said, "Yeah, I'll come over, but I get to skate it, right?" She said, "Yeah, no problem." So we go over there, and the pool is just trashed.
Damn.
I mean, it's thousands of dollars to fix it to fill it up.
Really?
But it's a kind of a fun pool, but not the best. But we have a pool in Hood River, and so Seth and I were the only ones that knew about it, and we would skate it every summer. We would bail out the water from the winter time, and we would skate it all summer. And the girl's name was Sarah, so we called it Sarah's Pool.
Nice.
And we've been skating it for probably 5 years, and then Graham Coates called me and says, "Hey, Wally, we got this pool. We're cleaning it out. And she'd be done in about 15 minutes." And he kind of gives me the directions, and so I get there, and they get it all done, and they're trying to hit the wall, and they're kind of going up halfway, falling off, and I dropped in, just wham, 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 bam, bam, and they go, "Boy, you really do know how to skate pools."
What, Sarah's pool or what?
And then they go, "Well, we have to name this pool." And I said, "Well, it's Sarah's pool." Sarah's pool? Why is it? Because Sarah showed it to us 5 years ago.
And that's why I can rip it.
And they go, "And you don't tell us?" "Yeah, but look, you guys found this pool finally, and there's 15 fucking people here."
Sure, you never told anybody.
This is the way you get a pool closed.
Yeah, true.
And then I did tell them, "Well, there are 2 more in Hood River." And they go, "Really? Well, where are they?" Well, the golden rule is, you give me a pool, I give you a pool.
Facts.
And they never gave me a pool.
Dude, that's not an area where there's a lot of pools, right? No. It's like not happening.
There's not. And it's so funny.
That's amazing.
The 2 pools were at the lumber yards.
Oh, really?
So the people who owned the lumber yards had pools.
They had a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're building all those houses out there in that area. Dude, that is insane, dude.
So on now from Wendell's, I go and work at Timberline and the food and beverage
Straight for the resort?
food and beverage manager at for the day lodge and the executive, the sous chef for the day lodge, and so I get, and Timberline feeds all the employees for free, so I'm getting to know the maintenance guys because they come and have to fix my stuff, and they tell me that they have to drain the pool.
They know you're a pool skater, obviously.
They have to drain the pool. And I says, "Well, can I skate it?" And says, "Yeah, it's fine with me, but you have to get Steve Cruz to say okay." So I go to Steve Cruz, says, "Hey, maintenance is going to drain the pool. Can I skate it?" "Yeah, no problem, but you have to get Consam to say yes."
Oh, jeez.
So I go to Jeff Consam, says, "Hey, Jeff, I heard you're draining the pool. Can I skate it?" He goes, "Yeah, that's totally cool." So it's gonna get drained in 3 months, and so here I am, and I'm kind of gearing up, and this, I think it's gonna be a pretty burly pool, so I don't want to skate it by myself, so I want to invite some people.
And this is like the hotel pool?
Yep, the hotel pool. So
the hotel that's in the Shining
yep.
or whatever,
Yep.
that one. Not the inside, but the outside of it.
So I go back to Jeff and say, Jeff, can I invite a couple of pros to come skate it with me because I don't want to skate it by myself? He said, yeah, we could do that. So anyway, it's going to be drain tomorrow, 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I call Bryce Knights and says, hey, we're going to drain Timberlane's pool tomorrow. You want to come up and shoot it? And can you bring Kevin Kowalski up to come skate it? And they said yes. So, but you can't tell anybody. It's totally
you can't blow this out.
It's totally private, And so they come up, and then I want one of the groomers, Casey Tratz, who's an awesome skater. I tell him 6 hours before it's gonna happen.
Jeez. And this is also they don't blab about it.
Yeah, And so anyway, we all meet at 10 o'clock, and the maintenance guys go, okay, you have from 10 to noon to skate it, because after that the pool guys are gonna come and fix it. And so we show up and
2 hours.
Yeah, and so we're skating it, and it's the one sidewall is really about what you can skate. You can't skate the head wall. And so the pool guys show up and say, we're almost done. No, take your time. We want to watch.
Oh, sick.
And then some people in the hotel came down. They're watching, and then all of a sudden, it's time for us to leave. And next thing you know, 3 skaters come, 3 employees with skaters, and
really,
and we said, dude, the session's over.
Yeah,
sorry.
What are you gonna do, right?
And they go, well, you didn't tell us. You didn't tell us. So, dude, it's just a private thing.
Especially when it's a hotel.
So
like that.
I believe there was rumor of it being drained once in 77, and there was rumor that someone else had skated the pool, but
in 77.
I don't know. But
I figured you would know who that would be.
Yeah, but I know there's 4 of us that got to skate Timberlane's pool. And
so who were the 4 skating?
It was myself, Bryce Knights.
Did Bryce skated?
Yeah.
Sick.
Kevin Kowalski and Casey Tratz.
So sick.
Yeah. It was pretty sick.
That is really sick. It's cool that they let you do that. Yeah. It's surprising.
And so they fixed the crack, but a few years ago we had an earthquake on Hood that made it leak again. So now the pool is gone.
Oh, wow.
They tore the pool out and they built a new pool.
Oh, jeez. Brand new.
Yeah. So actually, can you grab, there's a sticker that I brought
for you.
of Casey Tratz.
And we can pop it up. You give it to me digitally. I can pop it up.
This is Casey Tratz.
Damn.
Skating
this
Timberlane's
is the pool. Dude, that is so sick, man. We'll pop this up on the screen bigger.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That
I have a picture of that in Kowalski and actually Bryce shot a video of it. Maybe we can get a copy of that somehow.
Dude, IPS chrome transparency, that's so sick, dude. Dude, Bryce actually saw the message too late to get in a guest question, but he says what's up.
Oh.
He's all excited. But had he sent it, I would have put it up. He could have sent it right now, and I'd pop it in there, read it to you. But dude, that's really, really cool, man, that you guys were able to do that. Yeah. That's sick. I like these. Are sitting on your website too.
Actually, I just printed that
you just
a couple of days ago. So.
Oh, sick, dude.
Yeah.
New shit. Yeah. Love it, dude.
Yeah. I've done a lot in snowboarding. I used to coach the high school snowboard team, the Hood River High School snowboard team.
That's sick.
And was the vice
and
president.
Some peeps come through there, huh?
Yeah, and was Aspen, who's my eldest daughter, she got second place in half pipe in states.
You have 2 daughters, and they both snowboard, correct?
Yeah. But she did that as a senior, and then Autumn, who was 5 years younger than Aspen, was also on the snowboard team, and she won pipe at high school states as a freshman.
Proud dad here, huh?
Yeah, and Autumn actually went on to, riding Reb Tour and Grand Prix and was doing Go Camp with the snowboard team, the U.S.
So they
team.
still shred and they're into it.
she rode a lot with Chloe Kim back in the early days.
So
And
she's sick.
She was. She shows up her dad in the
And
pipe.
dude, pipe is so hard now because it's so big. So
I love it.
yeah, you're stoked
I
on it?
fucking love it.
It's like back in the day, looking at.
Haul ass, and I mean, I get head high.
Dude. I was thinking to myself, like, damn, dude. Head high in those new pipes, dude. That's huge, dude.
So, but you know, it's so
That's a good
funny.
joke.
So we were up in the summertime and we were riding the pipe, you know. And Chloe comes up to me and goes, "Hey, Wally, can I give you some pointers?" I said, "Yeah."
This is Chloe Kim.
Yeah. I said, "Yeah, no problem." He says, "If you're a little bit more patient and pop the lip, you can get probably 3 feet out. You're popping like 3/4 of the way up." And at the time, I think I was 60 at the time. And I looked at her and I go to Chloe and go, "Do you really think I really want to get 3 feet out of this fucking pipe?"
For real, dude.
And she goes, "Well, I guess you are older than my dad, so maybe not." I guess I'm pretty stoked that you're riding, you know.
Dude, that puts you, dude, by the time you're all the way up there, dude, you're like 30 feet in the air, basically.
Yeah.
Dude,
so,
you pop out a little bit, you're
yeah,
done.
You know, so I
Done.
I love the summertime. I mean, I can't even fathom those guys who are going 25 feet out, or Sean White going 22. Well, he was the first one to hit the 20-foot marker, right?
Did you see the guy last year that just at one of those contests?
The Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, just next level.
Yeah.
Dude, Japan is holding it down right now.
And snowboarding
Yeah.
and skateboarding.
Oh, and skateboarding
Fucking
too.
holding it
Dude,
fucking down.
Holding it down. They've
Yeah.
just been patiently waiting
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to
You
release
know.
the skills.
Yeah.
It's like mathematics to be able to do that kind of
You know,
stuff.
And then with Wendell, I helped run the Mount Hood series for USASA.
Sick.
So that was really cool.
You
And,
stay really involved.
yeah, and then you know, and after, and I went back to work for Wendell in 2005 and built actually the first ramps in Bob. And then it was 2005 was a crappy snow year, so summertime was really hard. So he had to let me go, and then that's when I opened up a surf skate shop in Hood River, IPS Skate and Snow. And actually, I was a big dealer for Tech
Which
9.
is so cool. Yeah, when
in
you sent that
Nomis.
over, Dylan Thompson too.
Yep, Dylan.
Crazy,
yeah, well,
dude.
Dylan comes to me and goes, "Hey, Ethan told me that I needed to get a shop sponsor."
Oh, shy Dylan.
Yeah. And I said, "Right on, you're skating for IPS."
Sick, dude. That is so cool.
You know, and then I ran skate for a kid, and we got to ride in the lane, and then I took the kids down to the camp, and skate camp. Sean Fitzsimons came to my skate camp when he was 6.
6 years old.
Yeah, and then,
already showing some talent at 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jeez.
And then at 8 he came to snowboard ski camp, and Chris Osnes was my ski coach.
I remember Osnes.
He rode for Line, I believe.
Yeah.
And he helped develop the twin tips, from what
That's
I understand. And he was the first guy who filmed Chad's Cat.
That's where I met him.
Yeah.
Chad's Cap. I don't remember who he was filming for, what his deal was,
Yeah.
but that's what I met him was at
Yeah.
Chad's Cap.
You know, and so I did this first snowboard camp, and Sean came, and he came on skis.
Really?
With Tucker. And I went to Sean, and he said, "Dude, you're a skateboarder. You can't be skiing."
Yeah.
So I gifted him a mini Denny cast.
Nice. Dude, I didn't even know that he came first with skis. I had no idea.
Yeah. At 8, and so I switched him
At 8.
over.
That's
so
young.
So I switched him over to snowboarding, and I was his first coach, and then as he progressed, I handed him off to Rick Millett, which Rick really took him to the next level. And
I mean, dude, he kills it.
yeah, and I mean, he fucking made the Olympics.
Yeah, it's incredible, dude.
But it was so funny. Like at 9, I went to Jan and Mike Fitzsimons. It says, dude, your son Sean is a natural talent, and he could take it wherever he wants, and I could see him taking it to the Olympics.
And there he goes.
And there he goes.
Yeah, dude.
So,
and he's still just doing his
Oh,
thing, man.
he's
Who knows?
ripping.
Who knows where it's gonna go, dude?
Yeah.
He's a great kid too,
Yeah,
and that's
he's-
the foundation.
he is
you know?
a great kid, you know. And so, and then at Autumn went to like the Bud King camp, and,
Oh, really?
and that's when Red was there,
Yep.
and Toby.
That Tahoe, where they were doing it? Or were they doing
No,
that
they were
in
doing
Tiburon?
it at Hood in the
Sick.
summertime, and at the camp, Red was there, and Toby Miller was there, and those.
So
are
she's
all
on the
natural-
level.
Yeah, she was, and then she battled a bunch of injuries,
It's tough, man.
but yeah,
It's not easy.
yeah. And,
You know, I have a guest question from Mike Estes.
oh,
Well, we're in here because I think we're getting close here, huh?
I think well,
So let's get Estes here. I want to play his because he actually sent me
oh,
the and then afterwards he started sending me photos of you, like just hype, dude.
well,
Photo of you holding this lib tech, dude. I'll put that on the screen. He's
So
holding
what
the
was
board
that,
that's-
like a 210?
Dude, I think it's a 210.
210.
That thing's incredible. Do you own that board?
No, it was Ryan Davis brought it,
Sick
the
board,
Lip
dude.
Tech Brett,
Sick,
you know.
sick board.
But yeah, I
You got a photo of you with a bunch of kids, like doing it, the camps.
that,
you know?
that was camp. Well,
Yeah.
he was my coach. And so I lived with Mike and Carla during
Oh, you do?
during the Barfoot days that he was doing.
sick, dude.
Yeah,
That's right. He rode for Barfoot.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember seeing him in the videos, and I remember when I went to camp, he was killing it.
yeah.
So let's get this.
Well, hello, Stonie Buds. I have a question for the great Hall of Famer, Tom Wally Inouye, master of the water, destroyer of everything concrete with some metal at the lip, and very well talented snowboarder. Loves all terrain, I know that. He really does love good powder. But my big question here for you, Mr. Inouye, is, you know, there's one element that you haven't mastered, and that's dirt. You took me up into the woods of Hood River and Post Canyon and showed me these incredibly life-changing jumps, features made by crazy men with their chainsaws and hatchets. And I fell in love with literally risking my life out there. And I just wondered why you haven't come out to join me. Hey, everybody, have a great 2024.
Well, I don't know. I think you posted a video of me trying to do one of the skinny wood things, and I fell off and went over the handlebars. I know Mike Jacoby really fucked himself up in the woods, as well as a few other friends that I know who have fucked themselves up in the woods.
Did Jacoby hurt himself pretty bad?
Yeah, really, really bad. And I think it was a head injury for Mike. I'm quite a bit older than you are, Mike.
And Mike's old, and Mike is old.
You know, and so I don't know. It's funny. Stevens Pass was schmoozing me to come up and work for them. So I got invited up there in the summertime, and we went. We rented some mountain bikes, and he took me down the green runs, and I hadn't ridden a bike with real brakes.
Yeah.
Disc brakes.
Oh, true. Huh? They're insane, huh?
Yeah, and most bikes are a little bit bigger on me, you know, and so, I mean, it was starting to come back that speed was your friend, and you lean into your turn. So I told him let's go on a blue run, and so I saw him hit hit a jump and kind of go off the lip and come down. So I figured I'd do it, and the landing was a fucking rock pile.
No.
And I went to grab my back brake, but I accidentally grabbed my front brake and literally went to 90 degrees and brought it back.
Really?
Brought it back.
What?
And we went down, and I said, I think it's time for lunch.
You're like, let's call this.
So,
Dude, you brought that back.
I don't know. You know,
Like a nose manual
yeah.
or something.
I just know how I am, and that at one point in time, I'm going to fucking eat shit.
Yeah.
And dirt fucking hurts.
Dirt hurts, dude.
Concrete hurts too, but
Snow's your bro, you know?
I know where I am. I'm pretty aware of awareness on my skateboard, but I don't know. I crashed a lot BMXing.
For real.
And
you
so,
start to realize how much it hurts.
Yeah,
And the stuff they're doing on bikes these days is so crazy.
And I
dude.
just know if I go with you,
Yeah, it's
if I
expensive,
go
too.
with you, Mike, you're gonna leave me in the dust. You're gonna give me a bunch of fucking crap, or just like when we snowboarded, when I'm strapping in, you're gonna come and you're gonna take your tail, your snowboard, and you're gonna hit my nose, and to the ground I am.
That's what he did to you?
Yeah, all the time. He fucking did it all the time, you know. Yeah, I remember on one powder day, I was just kind of figuring out the powder, deep powder,
Yeah.
and we're going into 3-bowl, and he goes, and I somehow I cartwheeled and landed up, standing up and chest deep of snow.
Yeah.
And so I'm digging.
drowned out there
and
when you're
digging,
short like
and,
we are.
And Mike gets down, and I'm not down, so he makes the lap, and he sees me still digging,
Oh,
and he
no,
comes
dude.
and sprays it and just fills
No.
the whole back end. But yeah, I just, you know, I remember other time we were snowboarding, and he stops, he goes, okay, we're gonna go in the trees, and around the third tree, hang a left and aim for the top of the bushes. And I was with Mark Hibden as well, yeah. And so Mike goes first, and I go behind him. Hibden's behind me, and I see him launch over this bush and does a method, clips part of the bush, and the snow goes falling, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared. And I went straight off. And what did he do? He took us over, jumped over a 15-foot tree,
Damn.
maybe a 10-foot tree. It was fucking,
Just
I mean-
real shit.
yeah.
Dude.
So I'm just afraid that if I mountain bike,
Yeah, who knows what he's got up his sleeve.
you're gonna do the same thing, Mike. I know you are.
Thank you for the guest question, Mike. That's dope. And, dude, you got 2 restaurants with your wife, too, right? That's a beautiful
yeah,
thing.
You know, after leaving Timberline, we moved to the coast, and I built the first skate park for the city of Seaside,
Wow.
and
Props.
a nice mini ramp, spine mini ramp that was indoor. They called it Wally World.
Nice, dude.
After I built that, I couldn't find work, and Catherine, she has a degree in hotel and restaurant management, so she managed the famous crab broiler at the time.
Oh, wow.
It's gone now, but so she gave me a job as a busser, and then I got a job as a waiter, and then from there we moved over to the Wayfarer. And so every place that I've waited, I went into I asked the chef if I could come into the kitchen and cook for a week, because I was tired of going to the cooks and go, hey, does this have onions in it? Does it have garlic in it?
Yeah.
How is this prepared?
You just wanted to know the
So
menu.
I just wanted to have I just wanted to have a better spiel on selling stuff.
Dude, that's smart.
But every chef tried to snake me. And then I opened a surf shop in Manzanita that was right next door to the Blue Sky Cafe. And
Nice.
Julie Bergen, give her a shout out. She did just the most eclectic kind of food, pairing different things that you wouldn't go together. And she was looking for a chef or a cook. And I said, well, you know, what does it take? What did we have to do? And I said, I think I could do that. And so I would
And it's a unique menu, it sounds like.
Yeah, and so I would work my surf shop, and then at night I would go cook.
Jeez.
And Bob Finzer was our landlord, and Bob had this house that was an art gallery that 3 women had, and one of the women had got cancer, so they were going to close the shop. So he came to me and asked if I wanted to open a fish and chip joint. I said, well, if you want to open a restaurant, you should talk to my wife. She's got a hotel restaurant manager. So we opened the Hill House Deli, and it was just a coffee shop, sandwich shop. And then I'd go over there. It would get busy, and I would go over there and cook, and then go back to the skate shop. And then all of a sudden my friends would come in. They wanted eggs in the morning, so I start making eggs.
Nice.
And we just had an electric stove at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Just doing everything from there.
You know, and then from there we got a gas stove, and so we had that restaurant. And then Bob owned another building down on the waterfront. That owner got sick and asked Bob if he wanted to buy it. And so he came to us and asked if we wanted a second restaurant, and we went down there, and it was just kind of a shithole.
Oh, damn.
And we said no. Well, he's
You're
gonna,
all, not if it's a shithole.
you know, and he goes, he's gonna stop paying me. Well, let him stop paying you and just foreclose on him and take it.
Yeah.
You know. But Bob is a super, super nice guy. We gotta give him a shout out.
Give him some props.
Bob Finzer.
Dude, 2 restaurants is a lot.
And so he comes back the next week, and he says, "Okay, you guys now have a second restaurant because I bought it back."
Oh, wow.
You know? So we went there, and I said, "Okay, I want to gut this place, and I want to turn it into fine dining seafood lunch and dinner."
That sounds delicious.
And so we gutted it, and I called the health department because we just found a bunch of fucking rat turds everywhere. How can you let this guy operate this thing? And they just go, well, it's only 5 points off. It's kind of scary.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And we were remodeling. We were taking out the bar that he put in and to expand our kitchen. So I went under the building, and all the drains. I think Jim hired contractors will work for beer, but beer first.
They drank the beer and then went in and started doing their stuff.
Because I go under the building, and all the drains are just draining straight into the ground.
Really?
Not even into the sewer. It just stopped, and it was just going into the ground. And so we had these giant river rats.
Oh, dude, yeah. Who knows what they're getting, huh? Like the best eats they ever had.
I remember one Friday night, this river rat just comes running out of our kitchen into the dining room. Holy shit!
The size of a cat because it's eating so good.
Yeah. So
are river rats extra big?
They're big.
They are. Yeah. Right. There's people eating just like, oh man.
So yeah, we had those for 10 or 12 years, and we sold them. And the kids and we this was like 1998, and I get a call from Biker Sherlock, who was a big downhill or a luge guy.
I remember the name.
And he asked if I wanted to come downhilling, so I get a call from the X Games, invited to X Games 3 for stand up downhill as an expedition sport, and the other expedition was for freestyle motocross.
Oh, jeez, dude.
So freestyle motocross beat us out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I remember going there with Waldo Autry, rest in peace, and there's this big giant downhill circuit, and so he points out Lee Danzen, says that's the kid's. That's the kid to beat, you know, blah blah. And so I was watching him practice, and everybody was kind of standing up for this one chicane, which I was able to kind of tuck through it, and Lee was taking the left corner kind of wide, so I go up to him and I go, "Hey Lee, my name's Wally. I've been downhilling before you've been in diapers, and I am gonna pass you on the inside on the third corner.
Really?
And so during practice, I drafted him and I passed him on the third corner on the inside.
He's just like, damn.
Yeah. You know, but yeah. So I could say that I was in the next game.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's good for you. You're like, as far as people that I've talked to that with the surfing, snowboarding, skateboarding, it's just like, it's insane.
Yeah.
The devotion you've had to board sports and what you've brought to it. I'd like to personally say thank you, dude. Yeah. Bringing things like a Wally into, like, that's crazy to sit here and be chilling and talking shit with you is amazing.
It's pretty cool that, you know, that I didn't know that I was inventing the wall ride,
yeah,
but it's still really prevalent today. I mean, the street snowboarders, how they're taking the wall ride to the next level is just fucking,
it's crazy.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I also was the first person.
Do the backside air?
One of the first to do the backside air at Reseda.
Dude, that's crazy.
You know, and so so that's pretty cool.
How come it's always one of the first? It's just there's a couple people doing it, or
well, you know,
because I think Essie's was like he did the first. You know, like he was very adamant.
You know, I guess I could say I was the first person to have it documented.
There you go.
You know, at the time,
that's like if a tree falls in the woods.
At the time, there was a lot of skaters pushing,
blasting,
the
doing their
limits.
thing.
You know, I mean, Jay was trying to do kind of frontside airs, but he was doing more just like kick out.
Yeah,
go up and kick his board out, and Jay was trying to do hand plants early on, but we weren't understanding what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And
he had a vision in his head, and so translated it.
I went down to Home Valley Skate Park, and it was Steve Cathy and Lane Oaks, and there was just this little 3-foot bowl that those guys were like popping out, like 3 feet out and landing on the deck. And I kind of went, wow, I wonder if you can get air and come back in, right? And so, you know, I looked for different spots, and Reseda was kind of like this racetrack, right? And in the second bowl, you can carve this one thing and come into this bowl, and it was a perfect looping kind of backside thing, and did a nose grab and pulled it off opening day. It was kind of, yeah. So
that's sick,
yeah.
dude.
So
just it must be crazy to see skateboarding over the years, like the places it's gone, and
yeah,
just from where you took it, where you started.
You know, I mean,
and
like
broke barriers.
Yeah, it's just like there's a big controversy of did Tony Alva invent the frontside air, or did George Orton invent the frontside air? They were both doing it kind of right around the same time.
Simultaneous invention.
You know, and yeah, Tony might have did frontside airs in some backyard pools that we don't know, and that wasn't really documented at that time. And George Orton was definitely doing them at the skate parks, but it's kind of hard to say, and it's not
I feel like in a lot of situations you gotta like document it and show people.
Yeah.
To be like,
yeah,
you can't just be telling people.
You know, and the only bummer that I have is that unfortunately I lost all my Super 8 footage.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Like, I had
that sucks.
2 400-foot reels edited and that whole 9 yards of the big pipes and the fruit bowl, and I had Super 8s of Waldo Autry carving over 32 stairs of the fruit bowl, smoking a cigarette. You know, or I have films of him doing frontside 360s, guzzling a beer. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, did it get stolen?
It just...
You held on to this poster, but we lost all the footy?
Well, that was at my parents' house. I mean, you know...
It's hard, dude.
I think if it was, you know... probably bought drugs and didn't pay my drug dealer,
Yeah.
and then he came to my house and took my Super 8 camera and my film, and shit just happened.
You're a '60s child, dude. Drugs are coming up a lot.
Shit just happens.
Shit happens, yeah. Hopefully, maybe if there's some drug dealer that has this footage, if you could contact us and release the footage, we'll pay the bill, whatever it takes.
I'm just glad I survived those days.
Yes, dude.
I'm glad that I mean, during the 70s, drugs were all over the place. I mean, all your sponsors were giving it to you.
Yeah, that's a problem, dude. They're
Yeah.
like pushing it on you to the point where almost you have to.
Yeah.
If you're the dude that says no, are you still gonna have that sponsor? And it's a tough spot for people.
But after I started IPS, I went to Florida and met this guy Hunter Joslin, and he was kind of like the Sims East Coast team manager, and he saw IPS, and so he said, I'm gonna bankroll you.
Wow.
And we'll do stickers and shirts.
That's sick.
But we're gonna let Upland Skate Park distribute it all.
Oh wow.
I want to take it out of your hands. You can still do what you do.
That gets a little sketchy.
And so yeah, we took out ads in Skateboarder magazine that says, Tom Inouye wants you to join the service. Inouye Pool Service.
Nice, dude. Oops, wrong.
And so
wrong air horn. Fun fact.
What is today? The second 20 days.
Dude, January 22nd. We have the same birthday.
We do?
Yeah, dude, I saw that last night. Yeah, and I was like, what?
I'm gonna go to Baker.
pretty
I'm
random.
gonna go to Baker for my birthday. I'm turning 65.
Wow.
I went to Baker when
I hope you get some powder.
Yep. I went to Baker when I turned 6. I
Gonna
went to
come
Baker.
photo you, dude. Is that when the race is after later
yeah.
than that, huh?
I went to Baker on my 60th birthday, and
oh wow,
got to ride with Jamie Lynn. Woo. And Jamie Lynn and Wes Mace.
Wes Makepeace, dude.
What was coming out to SIA in Denver to play. And so they played. So the night before my birthday, we're in Ryan Davis's garage. And what do I see? I see Jamie Lynn waxing my board.
Sick, dude.
Waxing my fucking board.
Jamie is a G.
And we go up and ride, and
he just wants to make sure you're gonna.
and I think I can ride fast.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if anything, I'd like to go fast, and so he takes off. We're following him, and literally 3 or 4 turns later, him and Wes are fucking gone.
Wes is fast.
They're
dude.
fucking
I've ridden with
gone.
Wes. He's fast.
And they hit this side hit, and they fucking you see Jamie just do the big method,
You just
and
like,
Lynn and Wes is right behind him. So I'm gonna fucking hit it. I'm fucking hauling ass. Your jacket's going.
Yeah, the old jacket flap.
And I barely made it off the lip.
Sick.
And I just go, holy shit. So these guys, so that gave me a new perspective on all you fucking rippers, Ossie Sweeten, fucking Travis Rice, fucking Blake Paul, all those guys. They fucking haul ass.
I can't believe he was waxing your board.
Yeah.
To make sure you're gonna keep up with the crew.
And then we come back and we have cake, and so Jamie and Wes played me a private fucking concert.
Damn.
And then Jamie disappears, goes back out to the garage. He comes back and he paints me a little picture of the famous cats that you do.
So that's a birthday.
Yeah. So that was pretty.
Dude, I think we've done this, man.
I think so. I have way more stories. Maybe I'll have to come back.
Yes, dude. I'd love. You're always invited, dude.
Well, maybe next year if interlude happens
Let's
again.
go, dude. And I'm coming down for some barbecue.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm starving ever since you broke these out.
Yeah.
I got to get some food, dude.
Good.
It's on. I got to test these things properly.
Is it okay if I give a couple of shout
Dude,
outs?
I wanted to ask you, do you want to give any thank yous before we go?
Well, there's a bunch.
Or shout outs.
Tom Sims, rest in peace.
Yeah, for real.
Waldo Autry, rest in peace.
That air one was for everyone you're about to mention.
Curtis Hesselgrave, rest in peace. But most of all, I really want to give a shout out to Brad Strandland. Brad lived around the corner from me, and he was a longboarder, and he had the full machine shop, and so he kind of took over and was kind of my pit crew. Like he would take my trucks and lathe my trucks to take some weight out of them. He would lay the front of the truck so they fit perfectly on the bearing seat.
Wow.
He would take all my wheels and truly make them round. If I was going to skate plexiglass, he would cut these grooves in them and then make the lips super, super spongy.
Wow.
So it would grip on plexiglass.
I never even thought of that.
And then
He did full board tech.
he had these bearings that they were TRW MRCs 38 FFs. They were $100 a set back then. They're aircraft bearings, and you could hit it with your foot like this, and it would spin for 10 minutes.
Wow.
But so this cover at Gaithersburg, like here, you can back cover. You can you can see the Sims, right? You can see the Sims there. So Brad laid the front and laid the Sims logo off the front.
He got it right off it.
Yeah,
Sims must have loved that with the cover.
I wanted a little bit narrower wheel. So Sims was so stoked when that cover came out until he looked at the wheels and saw that his logo was
Look at
gone.
the sticker on the helmet. Damn, dude, you don't want too many logos is overkill.
Yeah. So
This is perfect.
but so.
Dude, what a shot.
So,
dude.
so I'm pretty stoked that you have these magazines.
Dude, it's so random that I have these and I've held them for like 20 years.
And then I brought you a board.
Dude, I can't believe it. This will be part of the set.
Brought you a board that Jeff Amet from Pro Jam, who has Montana Pool Service. A couple years ago, we went out to open his skate parks that he builds in all these Indian reservations in Montana. And so it was myself and Chris Stropel and Doug Pineapple Saladino and Brad Bowman. And so he made each of us boards with our old 1970 shapes.
That's dope.
And then he also put our logos on all the other shapes.
Of each
and
other's
give us
shapes,
that. But I got a box a couple weeks ago with this note. It says, Wally found 2 unopened boxes. Skate soon. Love, Jeff.
Dude,
Montana
that's
Pool
so
Service. And so I know that if I keep it, it's probably just going to end up in my garage in stacks. So I'm going to donate
Dude, I'm
it
going to put
to
it to
your
the set.
set.
It'll go right next to Jamie
But
Thompson. Sign that one.
That
Boom.
is a one of a kind.
Dude, that's
On
one of a kind.
On Doug Pineapple's shape with my logo on it, yellow. That's the only board I believe that is made right there. That
Dude,
one.
That's incredible.
So
your old shape is sick.
So I figure I'd donate to you, and so
Dude, I really
everybody can
appreciate it.
enjoy it.
This art, is that something you used on a bunch of things?
That's the original Inouye Pool Service.
Dude, that's sick
You
art,
know,
too.
so
Who did the art on that? Did you do that? or?
Well, this one was Don Pendergrass who redid this one, but
Yeah.
this airbrush artist Spliff out of Upland did the original one.
Dude, it's so sick.
And
man.
so,
Jim
yeah.
Thomas gave me this board, and I'll put yours next to it.
yeah.
And
So check.
it'll be on the set. You can check on it
Yeah.
every time an episode pops
So,
off.
yeah.
Dude, thank you so much, man. And
Thank you.
Thank you for coming by, dude. It's been so cool to your stories. I could just sit forever. It's just
Yeah.
incredible the shit you've done and the shit you've seen and the shit you've skated, dude. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And your steez, your mustache, dope. But thank you so much, man.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and probably any other thank yous. Good to go. Anyone you forgot?
Chase
He
Birch,
thanks you.
my whole kitchen crew at Wendell's, you
what's
know him, Evan, John Guy. I also gave Jill Perkins a job at Wendell's, and look at where she is now.
Dude.
She's
incredible.
Autumn called me and says, "Hey, I have this girl who wants to come work at Wendell's with you."
That's so cool.
And it was Jill, and at the time, Jill was she's a rad skater.
That's fact. She's
Right.
really, really good.
So she didn't snowboard.
she had just started.
We
right?
went snowboarding, but she didn't snowboard a lot. But we skateboarded a lot, and so, but yeah, I do have some video of you, Jill, back in the early days, right there, and one of these days I'll release it, and I'm really stoked that you've been Ride of the Year, Video Part of the Year, and I felt that your platform went just as fast as mine.
So dope.
And she's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And everyone watching, thank you so much. We will be back next week, and we'll see you on the hill, man. Hopefully we get some snow.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace. Yeah, dog. So good, my dogs. You know what I mean? And that goes out to each and every one of you.